Hey, oh, what the hell? Hold on. Hey, hey, God, the quest for homosexuality starts now, and it starts poorly. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you to SuperNac64DX for the follow, and Cinco Play 4-month resub. It is time for rampant homosexuality, folks. All of you are folks now. Sorry. Well, here's the thing. I want to go on a nostalgia trip, and I want to study something for history's sake. So I've told the story 1,000 times on stream. One of the reasons I was obsessed with multimedia as a child is because I had gay parents, and obviously I was a gay child. And I was just like, wow, there's no information about homosexuality anywhere. You know what's really difficult? Literally anything about homosexuality, literally learning anything. So I decided one day to look it up. I knew what it was, obviously, but I was a little hellion, and I was just like, I'm going to look up homosexuality in Encarta. And I did. And I was like, cool. And then I was like, I'm going to look it up in the schools, at the elementary school library and see what happens. And I ended up getting in trouble with a librarian, and I had to get a permission slip from my parents to say that I was allowed to look up homosexuality. So that was funny. I think about that a lot. But it also made me intrigued. How many multimedia encyclopedias feature homosexuality? There's hundreds of them. They made so many of them, and surely a lot of them must mention it, right? So I decided to go on a quest for homosexuality. Folks, first of all, please ignore this terrible screensaver. I was trying to find a gay theme for us, but I couldn't find one, so I just went with Cartoon Planet. Hope you enjoy. What you really want to see is, of course, my beautiful, perfect spreadsheet. Got the name, we got the year, and of course, we got the homosexuality tab. I'm going to be going through these. First one's going to be Canadian Encyclopedia Plus, looking up homosexuality, seeing if it's there, and then seeing what other stuff's around in that encyclopedia. Because, hey, I think multimedia encyclopedias are interesting. So let's take a look around. 1 second here. Yeah, so let's go. Let's freaking go. What's the? Yeah. Everyone's mentioning. I've had a few mentions of the Snowboard Kids. Not. I'm sorry. The 1080 soundtrack. The 1080 snowboard soundtrack. I'm glad to be giving y'all a nostalgic trip here. So let's start with the Canadian. The Canadian Encyclopedia Plus. Now, I also want to make this interesting. So, folks, putting in a poll. Will there be homosexuality? I want you to vote.
Something it's pretty hard to visualize it.
Thank you, Moower, for the 100 bits. Appreciate it. All right, will there be homosexuality in the Canadian Encyclopedia Plus? I think there will be. I actually haven't checked these yet, so I don't know. There's only one that I checked, and you'll know why once I get to it. But let's check this out. Canadian Encyclopedia. I guess we don't get an intro video. There we go. There's some Canada for us. Okay, it's 1996. We got fish. Nothing really gay here. The buffalo could be gay, so could the fish, and so could these people. We don't know. Is that a seal? Yeah, they're gay too. Will there be homosexuality? Yes, I think so too. So Let's take a look. We've got articles, media, search, and a smart search. Let's be smart about this. You may enter words or questions that describe your research or interest. Well, I better look up homosexuality. Oh, that's okay. In all caps, homosexuality. Okay, there's a lot here about homosexuality. So we've got Tennessee Williams. Tennessee Williams. Is this how I find out Tennessee Williams was gay? Oh. This is the dumbest way to find out that Tennessee Williams is gay. Well, that's how gay this is. So there's a lot of, not everything about homosexual life is pleasant. So not all of these are delightful. But I mean, I knew Oscar Wilde. Hey, privacy rights. Hey, okay. This is about Canada, which we don't have some of the. Oh no, this is about the US. Okay. This encyclopedia is genuinely educational. Yes. So, yeah, it's children's literature in French. Tell me. No. Where's homosexuality? I'm looking. Gay. Oh, their name is Gay. That doesn't count. That doesn't count, Canada Encyclopedia. You don't. So far, I will say this is a very. Yeah, it's just Mary Louise Gay is why they put this in the gay section. It's not perfect. Tariff? Is there a tariff on being homosexual? Is there a tariff to being homosexual? Oh, it's just the word preference? I love this. It's like AI in a way where it's just like, I don't know, is preference what you want? So people said handedness. Was that really a thing? Okay. It's just preference. Okay, so what it's doing is it's a lot of use of the term preference. Let's look at French language drama. Is there any homosexuality here? Looking pretty straight to me. Come on, homosexuality. Come on, homosexuality. Sexual psychology. Damn it. Close. Here we go. At the beginning of the 80s, televised novels ranged over a wide variety of themes. The family, politics, war, women's roles in society, abortion, homosexuality, the social... Yeah, Quebec. Cool. Well, that's a lot. So I think most of this is going to be pretty standard homosexuality dodge. So let's move on to see what the rest of this place has for us. This apparently has a movie. No, I want to see the movies. Go to the top. All right, show me movies. Show me movie. Movie show. Show movie. Movie show me. Show me movie to see. Preview? Oh, that's so cool. You got a little preview window. All right, maybe it's at the bottom. Is this it? There it is. That's this guy. Cool. The caption. English Patient. Hey, remember the English Patient? That's some real 90s nostalgia. Gay preference. Yes. What is this? It's like a hickey. What's this doohickey mean? It means nothing. Charts. I'll look at crime. Here's the crime chart.
Do something.
Thank you, Proxy Glitch Cat. 2-month sub. Thank you so much. Gay preference, Oscar bait edition. Thank you, Bobinator, for the 100 bits. Yes. The 1080 snowboarding soundtrack that does repeat the word homosexuality is perfect. So here's Canada. Look at your crime rate compared to ours. This ain't good. America, we got to get our shit together. Let's look at other articles. We learned a lot about, there's a lot of homosexuality here, but I'm assuming, I don't want to know about crime. Crime's not my business. I want to know about this. I thought it said exploitation and I got excited. Let's look up disasters. Okay, I am looking for whatever this dealy boppy thing is over here. See, that's what I like about multimedia encyclopedias. You can search them not just by subject, but because multimedia was so novel, you can search them by like by the medias that they are multi. Here, oh, it's a coal mine disaster. You want to see a coal mine disaster? That's that. Not gay. Gays didn't do the coal mine disaster. You can't blame that on me. All right, going through. What is that dealybot mean? I assume it means something you can explore. There is a quiz here as well, so. And yeah, we're not going to be. Oh, that must be. Yeah, that's it. Okay, what is it? It doesn't work! No! Oh, okay. There's this. You like Fort Anne? You like Fort Beauséjour? Fort Chambly? That's cool. I wanted to see that. Yeah, the thing is, I've actually had some bad luck getting these multimedia encyclopedias to even work. So, Katie Lang, actually, that's a thank you. Is Katie Lang Canadian? Get out of the section. No. We want Katie Lang! And it features a photo. There she is! There's Katie Lang! You met Katie Lang? That's sick. That's sick. Okay. I don't like how I keep learning things from this encyclopedia. I didn't know Katie Lang was Canadian. That makes a lot of sense. KD stands for Canada. Okay, yeah. That's crazy. Well, I know now. Go to the quiz. Let's learn some stuff. Which oh, this is all Canadian stuff. Quebec? Hey! Quebec. Canada claims sovereignty over offshore waters to 160? No. 320. Hey! This person won the second prize at a national typing contest in that sounds like, these all sound like people who would win typing contest prizes. So I'm going to go with Northrop Frye because it sounds silly. Sorry, Northrop. Les Plouffe. It was a working class family from Quebec City. Yeah. Hey! First Canadian to enter space. Okay. Johnny Canuck, is that a real name? I'm going to assume it's Billy Bishop. Mark Gano? It's not Johnny Canuck. Johnny Canuck is fake. Yeah. Johnny Canuck, I'm sorry. Longest bird migration. I want to say it's the purple martin. No, it's probably the Arctic tern. Yeah. Magnetic kill, NB, is caused by powerful iron. Optical illusion. There we go. Original name of Montreal was... I like the name Bytown, so I'm going to go with Bytown. No. Damn. Ville Marie. Hey! First Canadian satellite launched in 1962, and the first produced outside of the U.S. or USSR was called... I'm going to go with Alouette. Hey! What am I making over here? Oh, it's a puzzle I have to unscramble. That's no good. The foggiest place in Canada and possibly the world is Corner Brook. Harbor Grace. Argentina? I guess Argentina. Political party founded, is it the Looney Party? That sounds about right. Buffalo Party? Rhinoceros Party. I had no clue. What do racehorses, Northern Dancer, the Blue Nose, and Super Test have in common? I don't think a boat can enter the Sports Hall of Fame. They all won world champion. You can't put a boat in the Sports Hall of Fame. You can't do that. You can't put. You can't. It's a boat. No, no, no. It's like putting a car in the. No, no, I disagree with this. The name of the famous elephant killed at St. Thomas, Ontario. I'm pretty sure that was Jumbo. You can't put boats in a Hall of Fame. They're a boat. The capital of Saskatchewan is Saskatoon? Moose Jaw. I don't know anything. It's Regina. Standard Time was proposed by, I don't think that guy's Canadian. Sir Sanford Fleming. Hey! I've got an guy's eyeball. Musical Ride is performed by the Canadian Equestrian Team. Okay, so I guess the Cops have their own cop rock song in Canada? I'm learning so much. I'm gonna say they were, I'm actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ask for a clue. Oh, that just, how do I go? How do I go? How do I go back to the quiz? Okay, here. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm getting it. Theater de Neptune was. Yay, all right. Said to be the largest oil reserve in the world, the tar sands of Alberta lie along. I don't like any of these names. Peace River is the one I like the most. Oh, it's not? Okay. It should be called the Peace River. Canada first applied to President Ontario and Quebec. I'm going to assume it's 1791 since it just says the year right there. There we go. Some of these clues are easier than others. Provinces of Canada with no saltwater shoreline are. Yeah. Well, now I know. I don't know why I thought it was Ontario. Who painted the famous West Wind? Tell me their name. Thank you. It was Thomas John Tonson. Who is this guy I'm making? Capital of New Brunswick is, just tell me. Fredericton, cool. I like that it has a button that just tells you the answer. I think more things need that there. Let's see. The word that what does that mean? It was a pile of rocks resembling a man. Yeah, when did you go metric, Canada? 1871, are you kidding me? Oh, 1971. 1971, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Carbide Wilson got his nickname from... He did aluminum. That's cool. Carbide mortgaged. He lost it. Wow, he gambled and died. Cool. Hey, acetine. Just tell me where it is. Mirabelle, thank you. I love that. There's a you don't know crap button. Largest bird. The pelican, cool. First American known to have reached Alberta. European, sorry. The pelican, oh, it was Alberta. It should have been the pelican again. Oh, I should have probably checked for the guy's name here. Bound by No, no. Tell me the dude's name. Okay, I'm just gonna guess. Anthony Henday. Now try to unscramble the puzzle to see the picture. Okay. Here's. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. It's not supposed to be a sliding puzzle. It's not supposed to be. Sliding puzzles suck. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Just what I wanted. Sliding. Okay. So I'm going to try this. Give me 3 minutes on the clock. Let's go. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I hate sliding puzzles. Ah! No, I got this. I'm smart. I'm intellectual. Goes down there. I love sliding puzzles. They're so good. Ah, I'm dying inside. God, why did you make sliding puzzles? 120 moves? You don't say. You don't say. Okay, check this shit out. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do at least the top row. Top row's done. Who is it? It's John, like you said, Johnny Canuck. Oh, this is. Well, that was the Canadian Encyclopedia Plus. I will say this definitely did have homosexuality, and I learned that Tennessee Williams was gay. How did I not know that? Did you know I was in a production of Cat in a Hot Tin Roof when I was a little child? I played all the children. It was like a 7-8 person production. It was so small. How did I? My mother must have mentioned it at some point. How did I Anyways, there's so much you can learn from an encyclopedia, including that Tennessee Williams was gay. So, folks, let me bring up the encyclopedia. Bring up the spreadsheet. And I can faithfully say the Canada Plus Encyclopedia gets a big old yes, not yours, big old YES for homosexuality. Next up, my friends, we are into the Compton section of our program. Now it's time for Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia. This one's from 1995. And we're going to be going through a few editions of this so we can kind of see how the encyclopedia has changed over time and all that good stuff. So let's load that up. Taking a second. And boom. Give me a second here. Sorry. DOSBox is acting up. 1 second. I appreciate your patience. I promise you. I promise you. The homosexuality will make it worth it. Why are you doing? Don't keep. Okay. I think I fixed it. I said I think I fixed it. Yeah, let me fix this real quick here. And yeah, I went with a Cartoon Planet theme because, I don't know, to me, Cartoon Planet is gay. Thank you. So next up, Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia. There are a bunch of these, and we're going to start with 95 and work our way to 1998. So we'll get to see it progress over the years. Let's go. Homosexuality. See, it's all here. Go. Look at this! It starts with the letter A. I'm letting this play. Cool, okay. Yeah, frame 1, we get an ox. And we get an AOX. We've got the info pilot, the topic tree. Let's go to the menu. And, editing room. Book. Oh, I can bookmark things. Oh, I have a script? Yeah, show me a sample show. Here's one that says money, money. What do you think this is going to be? Think this is going to be normal? Let's play.
These are the things that many people associate with money.
Cars! I associate that with money. This is good. This is such a good slideshow. Here's the things people associate with money. This is the best thing I've seen in my life.
From prehistoric times, humans have needed or wanted to trade goods. If I have a chicken and I want your pig, how would we make the exchange fair? Society had to agree on a standard for the exchange of goods and services. The creation of money made trade easier. But money had to be something that was easy to exchange. Besides coins, many other things were used for money. The Aztecs used cacao beans. Among many primitive people, shells were used for money, and leather served as money for the ancient Romans.
They're just going to teach us the whole history of money here. But yeah, you can do these slideshows with info and are those sounds? You can record your own sounds. Put it in here. You can this is really, really, really in depth, but you know what we're here for, folks. Time for another poll. Will there be homosexuality? Oh, okay. I will click on the guided tour. Will there be homosexuality? I don't know why the S isn't capitalized. Let's go. All right, let's check the guided tour here. Pawn recommend. Please be Ron Howard. What?
Welcome to the adventure of Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia, a journey into knowledge. I'm Patrick Stewart, and I'm here to guide you on a personal tour through this powerful, yet easy-to-use multimedia universe of information.
Cool.
This is the encyclopedia's main screen, or the tableau screen. The three windows are called viewers. The large viewer on the right is where articles appear. Beside it is the multimedia viewer for displaying pictures, animations, and video clips. The row of buttons is called the path bar. Each button opens an exciting pathway into the encyclopedia, such as the atlas or the timeline. When you click on a path button, the path appears in the bottom window, the Path Viewer. Each of the paths offers dynamic tools for research and exploration. Each viewer window has a button marked Full Screen, allowing you to click to full magnification at any time.
Cool.
At the bottom of the screen, you'll find the Message bar. As you move the cursor around the screen, messages appear here, explaining exactly what the cursor is on. If at any time you desire additional help, click on the Explain button next to the Message bar.
Fiddly-do-it,
The
it's
cursor
here,
will
Patrick
become a question
Stewart.
mark. Move it over anything you want to know about. Click again. You will immediately hear a brief explanation, or I'll appear to assist you. I particularly like that
Captain!
feature.
Please, guide me on the journey of homosexuality.
I thank you for
Fiddle-dee-dee
briefly exploring
homosexuality.
this
There we
powerful,
go.
interactive wonder with me. Now, go, explore, and enjoy. The adventure is yours.
Fiddle-dee-pick, that was kind of sick. All right. So, folks, I'm here. The Jester. I'm queer. The Jester. Get used to it. The Jester. I'm going to be going on an idea search. What is the idea I wish to envision in my mind's eye? Why, it is homosexuality. Will you find it for me? We found homosexuality, folks. We've got sexuality, crime, Allen Ginsberg, motion pictures, Mary Robinson, Pierre Trudeau. Not as many as the other ones. But let's look up the main shebang here, homosexuality. Yeah, those are all things that happened with homosexuality. I think the probably most pleasant one is San Francisco. There we go. Okay, this is a little more pleasant. Fiddle-dee peasant. This is more pleasant. Hate Ashbury. Oh, homosexuality is just here. And then it just... Oh, I actually didn't know this. Folks, did you know the reason that the Castro is so homo is because a lot of the ex-soldiers after World War II were like, we're here, we're queer, we're stationing in San Francisco. Yeah, mostly bummers. Let's go to motion pictures. Maybe we'll find something more pleasant there. Let's see. Censorship, it's true. They were very censorious of the homosexuality. Bans were lifted on films depicting prostitution, kidnapping, drug addiction, abortion, and homosexuality, and interracial marriage. The fact that those are all in the same contingent. Oof. A bit strange there. But yes, homosexuality has appeared. I believe this journey might be a bit too depressing in this particular encyclopedia. So why don't we go to the info pilot and see what we can see? I could go to the Motion Picture Academy of America. I can go to the Academy of Motion Picture Sciences. Let's see, the Motion Picture Patent Company, and let's go to RKO. I like that this just stays here in the corner. The homosexuality corner here. Let's just leave it there. I'm not closing the pane. We'll leave homosexuality up in the corner. All right, RKO Pictures, Orson Welles. Can I see about Orson Welles' radio? Okay. Radio. Look at this. It's a timeline. Fascinating. Let's go to... I want Patrick Stewart to discuss things with me. So let's see if I can't... Let's see if we can't see some movies. Go with... compact disc.
information on a CD or a CD-ROM disc, a very narrow laser beam is used to strike the microscopic pits or depressions and the flat areas called lands on the disc. When the laser beam hits a pit, the beam is diffused and not reflected back to the photodiode.
Fiddle-dee
When
bit,
the
the
laser
laser
beam hits
hits
a
a pit.
land, the beam is reflected back to the photodiode. The off and on signals passed on by the photodiode are then processed in ways that cause the display of sound, images.
Okay, but we must see the dinosaurs.
Dinosaur species had
Wow.
unique ways of attacking and defending against enemies. The Tyrannosaurus rex lived through the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. They were
Chat,
about
do you
50
like
feet long
this?
and often
Chat, do you
preyed
like
on
this?
the stegosaurs,
Chat.
30-foot dinosaurs with long spiked tails that could swing back and forth freely to fend off enemies. Stegosaurs were unique in that their tails lacked the rigid tendons that stiffened the tails of most other dinosaur species.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, am I still here? Oh.
To do something, it's pretty hard to
Am I back?
visualize it.
Am I back? I have no clue what happened. I just decided to, gesture mode went crazy, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the dinosaurs broke it apparently. I have no clue how that happened, but yeah, that was the first time I think I've had an internet dip since we've changed ISPs. So good job, Google, for not doing that. Yeah, you didn't miss much, but let me play this again, and hopefully it won't freeze anything.
Dinosaur species had unique ways of attacking and defending against enemies. The Tyrannosaurus rex lived through the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. They were about 50 feet long and often preyed on the stegosaurs, 30-foot dinosaurs with long spiked tails that could swing back and forth freely to fend off enemies. Stegosaurs
I love that back
were
move.
unique in that their tails lacked the rigid tendons that stiffened the tails of most other dinosaur species.
Okay. And now you've all learned about this. I want him to explain. We'll explain everything or just
Click on the item you'd like explained.
dinosaurs.
This window is the Multimedia Viewer, where
Oh,
all the
okay.
multimedia is displayed, including pictures, videos, slideshows, sounds, even charts and graphs. The buttons immediately below the picture change depending on what type of multimedia you are viewing. These buttons control the playback of the multimedia and, sometimes, access more information about what is being displayed. Remember, if you need information about a specific button in this window, click on the Explain button again, and then click on the button you're interested in.
Okay, I like this. Okay, we can go to the I like this little area here. You have the notebook, exit environment, or editing room, which I think will make us let us do our again. I like the editing room music. I want to do that again. Go to line. All right, today is National Day in Egypt. And also Mormons happened. Cool. Idea search. Yeah, I'm searching for homosexuality. Oh, I already did that. Okay. I like that. I will say this has a lot less homosexuality than the Canadian Encyclopedia, but that seems about right for everything. You got any games in this encyclopedia? Recent events slideshow.
1993 started with festivities in the streets of Bratislava, Slovakia, as people celebrated the birth of a new country. At midnight, Czechoslovakia divided into two smaller countries, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. The day after his inauguration on January 20th, 1993, President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary Rodham Clinton welcomed visitors to the White House. On February 26, 1993, terrorists struck in New York City. A powerful explosion beneath one of the World Trade Center towers killed 6 people and injured more than 1,000. Muslim fanatics were later charged and convicted. Another man-made disaster, also with religious roots, took place in Waco, Texas, on April 19, 1993. The well-armed compound of the Branch Davidian sect was assaulted by FBI teams using tanks and other military hardware. The assault and ensuing fire killed 86 men, women, and children. The citizens of Japan celebrated the marriage of Crown Prince
lighter
Naruhito
news.
and Mosako Awada on June 9, 1993, at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. In the United States Mississippi Valley, the worst floods of the century covered millions of acres of America's heartland. In one of the year's more inspiring events, 2 old foes
be right
met
back,
on the
folks.
White House lawn on September 13, 1993. President Bill Clinton watched as Israel's Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin shook hands with Yasser Arafat, head of the Palestine Liberation Organization, at the signing of an agreement between Israel and the PLO to work out peaceful living arrangements for Palestinians and Israelis. There was a violent and bloody confrontation in Moscow, Russia on October 4, 1993. After President Boris Yeltsin had dissolved parliament on September 21st, many legislators armed themselves and refused to leave the building. President Yeltsin sent troops to storm the building and capture those who held it. About 140 people were killed, and the remaining resistors were arrested. Violence also played a role in the decision of the world's best-known athlete to retire from basketball. Michael Jordan, star
I'm
of
back.
the Chicago Bulls, announced his retirement in Chicago on October 6, 1993.
What
a
did
few
I
weeks
miss when
after
I
his
was
father was
gone?
murdered in North Carolina. The unfortunate death of his father apparently led him to the decision. In Southern California, in November 1993, fires fed by 70-mile-per-hour winds swept through 6 counties,
Everything
burning
was,
more
yeah,
than
1993
1,000
was
homes
kind of an
and
exciting
displacing
year,
more
huh?
than
I was
25,000
going to
people.
say, is this a
And as if
1995
fire were not
encyclopedia
enough,
catching us
rains
up
and
on
mudslides came
1993,
a
so
few
we're a
weeks
bit
later,
behind.
followed in 1994 by a massive earthquake.
Yeah, that was a big
The
earthquake.
year
I remember that.
1994 began with armed conflict in Mexico when a rebel group in the Chiapas region declared war on the government of Mexico, demanding land reform and an end to discrimination against Indians.
And they won.
At 4:20 a.m. on January 17,
Yeah, I lived through Northridge,
1994,
too. It
a
sucked.
major earthquake struck Los Angeles. It measured 6.6 on the
Okay,
Richter
so
scale
they are
and
doing
caused
1994
billions of
stuff,
dollars
so
in
there's at
damage.
least some new stuff
Major
here.
freeways collapsed, the death toll reached 51, and thousands were left homeless. In a break from bad news, the Winter Olympics opened in Lillehammer, Norway on February 12, 1994. By the end of the Games on the 27th, the host country had taken the largest number of medals. American speed skater Bonnie Blair won 5 gold medals. Early on the morning of February 25, 1994, an American-born Jewish physician, Baruch Goldstein, went into a mosque in Hebron in the Israeli-occupied West Bank and killed 29 people. More died in the panic and rioting that followed. This massacre stunned both Israelis and Palestinians. The attacker was killed at the site, but his deed temporarily disrupted the peace negotiations
Yeah,
between
back to
Israel
hell. I
and
was
the
gonna say, this
Palestine
is
Liberation
awful
Organization. The streets of Hebron remained a scene of violence for weeks. Richard Nixon, the 37th President of the United States, died on April 22, 1994. In
And
his
for lighter
eulogy,
news,
President Clinton urged, "May the day of judging President Nixon on anything less than his whole life and career come to a close." From April 26 through the 28th, 1994, South Africans of all races voted in multi-party
yeah,
elections,
that was nice.
marking
That
the
was a good
first
thing.
time that the country's approximately 18 million blacks were allowed to vote.
all right. And that's Compton's interactive encyclopedia. I think we've learned a lot from this one. But most importantly, there was homosexuality. So, folks, let me mark it on our big list. Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia in 1995 definitely has a homosexuality. Nope. There we go. And that's that for Compton's 1995. After that, we're moving on to 1996 Compton. Put down the computer. I'm assuming there's what I'm assuming I'm going to see is that we're going to see more homosexuality in the other Comptons, and it's just going to increase as homosexual acceptance started to increase in America in the mid-90s. But I could also be wrong, and they could get skittish and decide to go anti-homosexuality. Not like anti, but you know what I mean. I don't know, less homosexuality. But I don't know. We don't know. We'll see. Not doing a poll for this one since it's the same company, so I'm assuming there will be something there. It would probably be harder to take homosexuality out and put it like more homosexuality in. Oh, cool. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Thank you all for putting up with this setup here today. It's a little convoluted.
To do something, it's pretty hard.
68K Heart, thank you for the 4-month subscription. I love to log onto the internet to see increased homosexuality. I do too. That's what I'm voting for this year, is increase in homosexuality by at least 20%. If we don't see a 20% increase in homosexuality this year, then what are we doing with ourselves, you know? I have no idea where this one's going to be. Compton's Home Library. That's 98. We don't need. Yeah, it's a Compton's New Media. There we go. No. No. Register later. Ooh, they added online. I'll let this play. I assume Patrick is still here. I don't see guided tour though. So perhaps he is not, but there is an explain button. So
Click on the item you'd like explained.
This.
This window
He's still
is
here!
the multimedia viewer.
No, we know the multimedia viewer. We looked that up. All right, folks, we're doing it again. I'm hoping for more pleasant things this one. Okay, that is literally the same thing as last time. Got homosexuality, sexuality. So no increase in homosexuality, but there's other ways to increase your homosexuality than looking up homosexuality. I'm looking up John. Okay. John Waters, anybody? Waters? Got Muddy Waters. That's cool. No, okay, John Waters isn't here. Fail encyclopedia for fail people. Who else? Oh, Tennessee. They didn't mention Tennessee Williams was gay. I don't like that I can't look up gays in this encyclopedia. That is one thing that the Canadian Encyclopedia let me do, and I don't like that this doesn't let me do it. But it does have homosexuality. Let's see what's different about this one. A lot of it's going to be the same, but with like content. Oh. Actually, I'm going to go back to explore and see. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to Light Escape.
Welcome to Kaleidoscape, a game of pattern, shape, and color. Let yourself wander and wonder. Click on an object. Can you figure out what each picture is?
Go back and click the object again to see a different picture.
Cool! Have fun!
Okay. Oh, it's a quilt. Cool. And I'm learning about the quilt. Oh, you can move it around. Okay. Is it just you click on things and it tells you things? Does it tell you the same thing every... Okay, it tells you different things. Okay, I like this Oklahoma City park. It's pretty. There's a strawberry shortcake. We got another ship. Hey, ship fans. Does this represent money to you? It represents money to me. We already did the quilt. Come on. We have vari-colored bands. Chat, do you like this? And I'm back learning about sheep. All right, I'm gonna explore some other places. I'm going to Wild and Free.
G'day, mate. Ah, nature. Beautiful and powerful. Wild and free. You know, my philosophy is that when a person has no control over nature, nature runs wild and free. But there are times when a person can feel just as wild and free as nature. Ready for an adventure? Click an object. Then click again for another adventure. As you explore, think about our relationship to nature.
Okay. Yeah, those are balloons. Oh, cool. Please don't be a plane crash. Please don't be a plane crash. Please don't be a plane crash. I like that there's no audio here. You gotta imagine it. A long time ago, people were in planes. They flew pretty far. Teddy Roosevelt was like, yep, I'm going on a plane, gonna go flying. And that is how he won the war against the people that he fought against. People also made those things. There's a plane crash. Jesus. Okay. Let's go for a wild plunge. That's fit. Okay. I woke up. Hi. You want to see the major historical tsunamis? Hey, everybody, we're learning about cave. See what else we got here. We're actually kind of interesting. Madcap music.
Madcap Music is open for business. And the store is
I
gone
like
to the
them all.
birds. Literally. You can join them. Listen for surprises. Each bird sings different songs.
This is great. Aww. Aww. I like that.
Music accompanies worship, dance, and song in all cultures. But the notion of creating music primarily for its own beauty has been a preoccupation of the Western world. The story of Western music begins in the churches of the Middle Ages, where composers began writing new melodies on top of the old religious chants. This new musical fabric, called polyphony, astonished listeners with its changing tonal colors. In the Renaissance, polyphony blossomed into an elaborate system of melodies overlapping and echoing each other in flowing rhythms.
Cool.
A system of counterpoint
I'm learning a
controlled
lot.
the way melodies fit together so that the harmony was always clear. Also at this time, instrumental ensembles began to appear, at first imitating the vocal music. By the Baroque era, instrumental music became a force of its own. String and keyboard instruments were especially...
Now, this is interesting, but I want to hear what these other birds have to say. Yeah! Does she do that every time? Oh, it's different woodwinds. That's cool. But this guy. Aw, I was hoping I would be able to write my own music for him. There's so much music stuff here. I love this. Like clocks. So this is cool. I want to do mystery sounds, though. I want to see if this is like an actual game. That's a chant, right? That's a didgeridoo. I know what that is. Can I want to... Are the instruments 50% off? Or is it just the birds are 50% off? Thank you for the triangle. It's time for dinner. I want to go to Grandma's attic. What do you think it's like?
Time to clean out Grandma's attic. Look at all my treasures. Probably looks like junk to you. But you know, these things might have fascinating stories to tell if they could speak. Who knows what exotic places they may have been to, or what famous people may have owned them. Rummage through. Click the items in this attic to see and hear clues into their past. You might even change your mind about their value. And be sure to go back and click the items again. Sometimes they tell different stories to different people. You just might get a different story if you click again.
Yeah, I think the implication is that grandmother has died, which is... I will say, these Comptons have been way more depressing than the Canadian Encyclopedia. And I kind of like that. I like how evil-coded it almost is. Triangles. Ugh! Do you like the Cupies? I don't like the Cupies. Go away, please. I guess you could play Claire de Lune of a over a tranked bear. It's just the tree button. Indianapolis. There's a lot here. There's a lot here. But a world traveler. let's go to the final areas here. You've got Compton's newsroom and space. Let's go to the newsroom. Word of the day.
Welcome to the Compton's newsroom.
Word of the day should
People,
be homosexuality.
Places, problems, and progress.
Word of the day is concentrate. Can I change the current word? I'm going to do it. I have changed the current word of the day to this. Thank you very much. Is it in the thesaurus? Uh-huh. Okay, I just want to say a lot of these are not terms that are good to use ever, so don't. But yeah. Monoclinus. That's me, baby. What is in the archives? Apparently the archives are you getting shot. Cool. Worldwide destinations. Will I get shot here too? This is a worldwide destination. Newsroom's a little wonk. We got one more.
Stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific, Canada, one of the world's largest countries, has some truly spectacular scenery. Well known for its grain
This
production.
should have been in the Canadian Encyclopedia. What the hell?
Welcome to the Compton
Oh, it's
Skyship.
Space Quest.
Our mission, to travel through our solar system, collecting facts and fictions. You're the captain on this bridge. Have fun exploring the movies, charts, and photographs on your journey through space. There's a lot to see and know. Click an object to learn more.
What's in the trash bag? I was hoping there would be a thing. Instead, it's a horrible noise. Cool.
The large heavenly bodies in our solar system that revolve in orbits around the sun are called planets. Mercury is the planet closest to the sun. Venus is next. Earth, the third planet, appears to be the only planet that supports life. The remaining planets, in order from the sun, are Mars, often called the red planet, Jupiter, which is larger than all other planets combined, and Saturn, known for its rings. Uranus comes next, followed by Neptune, and tiny Pluto, the smallest of the 9 known planets.
That's
seen
just
here
the
in this
glitch.
false color image as a bright blur.
That's just a that's not Pluto. That's what my computer glitches. No. All right, I think we've investigated Compton's 96 quite a bit here, so let's get out of here. Shut on down. And go to the final Compton's Encyclopedia of the day, Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia, 1998. But first, we must mark on our sheet that yes, my friends, Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia, 1996, does feature prominent homosexuality. Boom. Save. Perfect. All right, we're going at a pretty good pace here. So I don't know if we'll get to all the encyclopedias I planned for today, but I think we'll get through a good chunk of them. And I've got some videos to watch afterwards. Got some stuff. So let me just load up Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia 1998. Update this. And there we go. They got a new logo this time. Yeah, you can get free homosexuality with your purchase of Windows. Think about it. Last but not least, we've got Compton. There you are. 1998. I think this will have more homosexuality.
Welcome to
Oh
the
my God.
adventure of Compton's interactive encyclopedia, a journey into knowledge.
Well, the aesthetics totally changed.
Welcome to the adventure of Compton's interactive
Oh, it
encyclopedia,
doesn't feature Patrick
a journey into
Stewart.
knowledge. This guided tour will introduce you to this powerful, comprehensive, and easy-to-use multimedia universe of information. This is the encyclopedia's main screen, or the tableau screen. It has 3 windows or viewers: the Find viewer at the upper left, the Article viewer at the right, and the Multimedia viewer at the lower left.
All right. We know how to use these. We've had Patrick Stewart explain it to us. Folks, you know what we're doing here. Hey, we have a new word. We've got adoption. Hey, we got adoption. Hey. I remember gay adoption was actually a hot topic at the time. It just puts homosexuality here, but it doesn't really mention. Okay, in many cases, the right to adopt has been extended to unmarried couples, gay couples, and single. Okay, that's why homosexuality is here. Yeah, okay, all right. So it took 3 years, but they added the topic of gay adoption to the list here. I think that's a win. I think that's Compton's win. Now, we didn't check out the atlas. Let's go here. Go to Europe. What's going on in Europe? Go to Netherlands. What's up? Hey. Okay. This would be cool. It has links to things you can look up, like the city.net map of Amsterdam, but I have no way to connect this to the internet, and these links are all probably dead. But this is a really cool feature. I like this. I like this a lot. You know, I looked up homosexuality. Let's try this. I want to see if it would let me look up related items, but it doesn't not look like. So let's see. Got tools. Change layout. Oh, it's got different layouts you can do. That's nice. A little feature. Whoa, we have a game. Okay, let's see what we got. And quest. Prepare to enter a world of ancient mythology combined with the astronomical tools of tomorrow. Welcome to Star Quest. You are a cosmic big game hunter within your star pod, locating and photographing more than 20 constellations and more than 30 awe-inspiring space objects of all types. Your objective is to fill your image log with photographs you capture on your interstellar journeys. Your first objective is to locate a specific constellation using only your star chart and pod controls. Once you have located it, your star pod will magnify the viewer screen and you will be given a space object to locate and photograph within the constellation. But be forewarned, no one can travel the heavens without being transformed. That is a... All right, let's go. Need to find Cassiopeia. I think, yeah. Okay. What's the chart say? Are you gonna tell me, like... Okay. Is that it? guess I have to rotate the... Yeah. That doesn't help me. Is this any... Hey, guys, I hate this. This sucks. I guess this would be good if you were good at star charts, but I'm not into Star Quest. Let's go to in recent events 1996. What's happening in 1996? How depressing will this be? Oh boy, it's yeah, okay. It's not a movie like last time. I was hoping for a movie. So they removed some of the movies, it looks like, in this one. They added Star Quest, which is I don't know. People mocking me for this. That's fair. I'm not good at games. I saw it on the screen and I saw myself go to it, but the thing is, I don't know what you were supposed to do once you highlighted it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do is the thing. That's on me. I should have paid more attention, but you know me, I'm not paying attention. What animal resembles an umbrella? A jellyfish? I was right, it was a jellyfish. Okay. Next. What member of the grass family can grow as high as 100 feet? Oats? That would be, I don't know. I can just find out if I wanted. What else we got? What was the masculine pen name of Mary Ann Evans? That would be George Eliot. Really? Did I just not learn anything in school? I just, what did I learn in school? Anyway. That's Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia, 1998. There's a lot going on here. There's more homosexuality in this one than the last ones, and there's a lot of depressing info in here. So yeah. I do. Next up is a disc that I couldn't get working, but I'm gonna dig around in it because I think you'll see why. But first, Compton's Encyclopedia 1998, make it official. Yes, there is homosexuality. Folks, you're not going to believe the next encyclopedia I have. It's so good. It's so very, very good. I unfortunately could not get it working, like I said, as a regular encyclopedia, but it does have quite a few QuickTime videos to go through. So, folks, we're checking out Dr. Ruth's encyclopedia. And, folks, while we can't do a word search in Dr. Ruth's encyclopedia, I have to do the poll. Do you think it'll feature homosexuality? I appreciate your patience. My computer's acting funky today. Will there be homosexuality? I say Dr. Ruth would make it yes, but the thing is, this is from 1994, so I don't know how squeamish they might be. So consider that this is from 1994, and answer if you think whether or not Dr. Ruth's encyclopedia will feature a homosexuality. Ruth, Dr. He's Dr. Ruth. Yeah, I think the answer is yes, but Now here's the thing: if we can't find homosexuality in the files, in the QuickTime files, I'm just gonna go for, if I can find anything homosexual adjacent or queer adjacent, I'll consider that a yes. I would be surprised if we can't find anything. So, unfortunately, when you start to try to start the CD-ROM, it just dumps you out of it. It gives you an error file. But we do have movies, quizzes, and things like that. Let's see if the word homosexuality is not here, but we've got this. Got, I guess, the thing about your speakers. That's cool. Got we got the icon, which I really love. Just sex. But yeah, like I said, none of these work. What the? Hold on. What is Rose? It's more about jazz or something. I don't know. This is a conundrum of a video here, but quiz time. We want to go to movies. All right. Have abstit, which I assume is absence. We've got age, so probably does mention homosexuality. Let's see. Or some I definitely don't want to click on. Condo. There's a lot here, and I'm afraid to put them on. Here's the intro. Let's watch the intro. That ought to be safe for work. Later. Please. There we go.
Hello there. Are you sexually literate? Let's find out.
I wish that worked. I would have loved that. Okay, there's some that I obviously know I can't touch. But I did see, I have a spoiler. I did actually find one. I'm assuming the V is for, and I apologize for the term, but it was the term in Vogue in 1994. Here is a video about a transvestite. I like the music. Looking good. I would consider that it wasn't hateful. No, this is not hateful at all. That was very positive and chill, actually. I really liked that. So I'm going to consider this, even though there are so many videos here. I'm going to click on some of the Ruthisms, but I just want you to know the reason I'm not clicking on a lot of these videos is I don't know how safe for work they are. I am just trying to go through and find some positive things. And yeah. Well, let's try this Ruthism 01. Let's see what this said. Mostly I'm afraid of finding boob.
Sometimes just looking can be a powerful turn on.
Okay. That was safe for work. What else you got?
Safer sex doesn't have to be dull sex.
You're right. Let's choose Ruthism 12.
Sometimes you should make love in the morning when the male hormone testosterone is at its highest.
Okay. All right. And let's go for the final Ruthism here. Ruthism 23.
Sometimes it's fun to step out of the bedroom and make love among the leaves.
Okay, but what if there's poison ivy, ma'am? People want sexum OO, so I'm going to go with sexum OO, but I just want you to know if this is dirty, I'm going to have to hide it. And by dirty, I mean like nudity. I know that I see testosterone. Okay, this looks fine. It's just her. Okay, I think we're good.
In terms of sexual morality, sexual conflict stems from differences among people about the issue what behavior is right, moral, or permissible for them. That has to do with their religious, moral, and ethical background and considerations which have an impact on sexual activity.
I want to hear her say homosexuality. I'm going to watch some of the videos about AIDS, and I'm going to see if they do not. Because I know she's got to say homosexuality. I just want to hear it.
These days, we live with a dreadful sexually transmitted disease of AIDS. The only way of avoiding this disease is by not sharing any needles, by not engaging in any sexual activity, and for those who do engage in sexual activity, to use condoms.
No mention, but that's fair. By 1994, AIDS was absolutely not just seen as a gay-only. That she wouldn't mention it there, but I'm, like I said, I want to hear her say, I would like to hear a mention of homosexuality before I quit.
Today we walk away into a world where anything can happen, so we must remember the choices we make will determine our future.
Hey, Kathy. I don't know if you got your results back yet, but don't worry. I'm sure you don't have AIDS.
And there's your public service announcement. That was depressing. Last but not least, AIDS X07. Gonna be normal.
An HIV cell, the virus that causes AIDS, has specific markers that help it to bind to a host cell.
This is actually really informative. Like, I actually really would love to go through more of these, but I don't know if they're safe.
That contains genetic material called RNA. The RNA is a messenger that tells the host cell to reproduce virus cells instead of new host cells. The body produces antibodies to the HIV virus. When a test shows that the blood contains these antibodies, a person is said to be HIV positive.
Okay. Control left? Okay, I want to try that with an Ask Ruth video. Hey, La Watu, thank you for the hint. I'm doing that again. Yeah, no, Smebble. That was absolutely right. Once Magic Johnson was diagnosed and came out about it, I actually remember, like, as a kid, that being a huge change in the way people talked about it. There was also that, his name was Ryan, a child who also was doing a lot of public service announcement stuff about how AIDS was, anybody could catch AIDS. So it was a shift, definitely. Let's hear what she has to say in forward.
Hello? I'm so glad you called.
I almost want to put in the birth one just to see the baby go backwards, but I have a feeling there are all these with This one says congratulations. I got to see this.
So now you see how it all fits together. I congratulate you that you have taken the fertility tour. It must help you to see that you must always use contraception. Sex is a lovely, natural process, so you can relax and have fun. Ma fene skala na hujus, se sochlo stand, valla se skes. Stress nog zo is er wel samen. Niet zo niet maar samen niet. Oh, het is niet met de jet, hoe is die dus daar nog ja. En dat is de foto waar hij zo Janus.
Exactly. I am not clicking on, I'm going to click on erect. Yeah, I'm clicking on erect. That's going to happen. I don't like the heart. Is that about heart health? I just really wish there was something where she said homosexuality. But again, I take the positive trans thing as close as we're going to get. I guess I could look at the safer sex videos. I'm going to do those and then we're going to switch discs. He's mentioned gay sex.
There is no such thing as safe sex. The only way that I talk about that issue is to talk about safer sex. Okay. Yes, it is true that the only way of not having a sexually transmitted disease is by masturbating. It's important to have love and trust and the knowledge about a person's past sexual history in terms of achieving safer sex.
Bless her for being so gender neutral so this advice could apply to everyone. But lady, just say gay for me, please. All right, I actually think I'm checking the time. That's it for, I think, Dr. Ruth's Encyclopedia of Sex. Folks, I'm going to put in here a tentative yes, kind of. I feel that's probably as good as we're going to get with Dr. Ruth. But hey, I feel educated. I feel learned. I feel like we learned a bit. And we got to see some old stuff. Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got an old classic, an old favorite. I know this bad boy's going to mention it, but I need to check anyway, folks. Next up is Encarta. Encarta. There we go. And was that 1994? Yep, 1994. We're going all the way back to 1994 for this version of Encarta. Not gonna lie, I like Encarta. I'm an Encarta stan, an Encarta freak. Was it because of the story about looking up homosexuality on Encarta? Yes, that is exactly why. There we go. Encarta. Encarta. Encarta.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin.
Cool. All right. We got the gallery wizard, the category browser, the contents, the highlights. Let's enter the world of Encarta. Again, starts with the letter A, like the other one. This is so less fancy. I love it. Where do I go search? Contents. H. H-O. M. H-O-M-O. It's here. It's here. And one thing I like about their homosexuality article is it's so in-depth. Look at this. You saw the one in Compton's. Compton's was just like homosexuality. It's when people are gay. But this is like so much info. We've got mention of professional attitudes. We've got fucking... You have a lot of info here. Gender and relationships, contributions. And you can see that this was done by like this, whoever this is, an MD. So yeah, look at this. Yeah, it's a lot more than just like homosexuality and then like death, discrimination. And there's even a mention of trans stuff. Look at this. Those who find their nature, sign, gender identity intolerable surgery has occasionally been performed. I don't know. They've been proven pretty successful to me. Let me tell you, I can tell you that HRT definitely did the job. This one even mentions gay adoption before Compton's even considered it. So I think this just takes a diarrhea dog shit dump all over Compton's and maybe not as much a Canadian encyclopedia, but this is pretty good. So we've got our info. Let's see also, what else can we look at? Civil rights and civil liberties and discrimination. Look at that. And psychologists about the topic. That's actually really cool. This is really cool. So, you know, let's see what else we can look up. There's the Mind Maze game. It's already here. Look at this early Mind Maze. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's early Mind Maze. Look at this. Okay. Start.
If you solve the riddle, I'll strum you a tune.
Oh my god, they talk in this one?
If you solve the riddle, I'll strum you a tune.
Okay. T1. No. Ship with a long, unobstructed flight deck. That would be an aircraft carrier.
3 cheers for the victor!
I didn't know Mind Maze was
The
here.
philosopher Lao Tzu says, "To know that you do not know is the best. To know more, answer the question."
A wind energy conversion system operated by the wind acting, that would be a windmill.
Wisely chosen. Confucius says, "The cautious seldom err."
I wish you wouldn't do that Confucius thing, but I get it.
I am a woman of my own destiny. Find the right answer to decide yours.
I like this lady. This lady's cool. In warfare, explosive devices, that's good.
Bravo, bravo, you're a smashing success.
I'm an American black bear. Did you know I'm on the endangered species list? Show me what else you know by answering this question.
I like this version of Mind Maze more.
I'm an American black bear. Did you know I'm on the endangered species list? Show me what else you know by answering this question.
Okay. Major science dealing with cosmos. That'd be physics.
Good work. If it were up to me, I'd appoint you ambassador at the next Earth Summit.
Thank you, dude.
Yo, I'm the Fox, and I'm here to say, click on the door if you want to play. Yo, I'm the Fox, and I'm here to say, click on the door if you want to play.
Any type of self-propelled vehicle used by railroads, that would be a...
Bravo, dude. That's the way. You're so smart, you blow me away.
It's a jungle out there, and I ought to know. To find your way out, click on the door and answer the question. Wow, you can swing with me anytime. Nice job.
Ready to test your skill? Choose a door to receive your question.
I love him! I love him! I love him! Oh my fucking god! I love him. Don't want to know about the Civil War Confederate flag thing going over here. Let's just assume he's a historian. But look at him. Look at him. He's so good. He is a tiger in a wheelchair. I don't even want to continue. Can I just hang out with this guy? Can we just I don't know. I don't know why this castle's full of personas. It's because we live in a society. Chemical compounds are mixed that undergo rapid burn. That'd be explosives.
Right! You're on a roll.
A Greek proverb says, "Wonder is the beginning of wisdom." How wise are you?
I'm dumb. I didn't get through the study of the atomic nuclei. Nuclear chemistry.
Well done. As Sophocles says, wisdom outweighs any wealth.
If you want to win, you have to play the game. Click on the door if you're ready to play.
Form visible. That would be lightning.
Cool, dude. You're smarter than I thought.
I like that this kid thought I was an idiot, which is fair.
The world is your oyster. Choose a path and a question will appear.
I want the furries back. Uncharged particle, one of the fundamental particles. That would be a neutron.
Right on. You came up with a pearl.
I got a pearl.
I challenge you to find the answers. Choose the way.
You can't talk like that, Encarta. Solid residue of combustion.
By answering correctly, you have won.
No, you don't.
I challenge you to a duel of the mind. If you accept, choose the correct door to continue through the maze.
I guess this is French, this guy? Okay. Heavier than aircraft that derives its lift not from things but from power. That would be a helicopter.
You have risen to the challenge.
I should have
The
said it was
faint
a
of heart
ferry.
cannot conquer the unknown. Make your choice.
This way. Why is the Girl Scouts sign over here? That's the Girl Scouts logo, the 4-H Club, and the Boy Scouts logo. What? Rows on which... Wait, that...
You handled that with skill. Let your... Join me, my friend, and ponder your question as I prepare for my desert journey.
All right. Enjoy your desert journey. Enjoying my dessert journey. Sorry, I got gelato this week. Devices used to till agricultural machinery.
You have proven yourself worthy of moving forward on the path.
Oh, I won the ribbon of physical science and technology.
Sybil Marshall said, "Education must have an end in view, for it is not an end in itself. Answer correctly to achieve your end."
Oh yeah, I could see that happening. Let me get a little closer to the mic here. Let me know if this is a bit better. I don't want to be noise gated. Apparatus combining optical and for management. Bomb site?
Wonderful. Do not let your determination waver as you continue on your way.
Done.
If you solve the riddle, I'll strum you a tune.
Structure providing continuous passage. That would be a bridge.
3 cheers for the victor!
The ancient Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu says, "To know that you do not know is the best. To know more, answer the question."
That would be television. I know what television is.
Wisely chosen. Confucius says, "The cautious seldom err."
I am a woman of my own destiny. Find the right answer to decide yours.
Yeah, I really wish we could have heard her tune. Substances that react chemically with another to produce heat or that produces heat by nuclear process. That would be fuel?
Bravo, bravo, you're a smashing success.
I'm an American black bear.
Yeah.
Did you know I'm on the endangered species list? Show me what else you know by answering this question.
Barrier constructed across the stream. That would be a dam.
Good work. If it were up to me, I'd appoint you ambassador at the next Earth Summit.
Yo, I'm the fox, and I'm here to say, click on the door if you want to play. Yo, I'm the fox, and I'm here to say, click on the door if you want to play. Yo, I'm the fox, and I'm here to say, click on the door if you want to play.
All right, stellar planetary unit on the night. That would be our solar.
Bravo, dude. That's the way. You're so smart, you blow me away.
Thanks, man.
It's a jungle out there, and I ought to know. To find your way out, click on the door and answer the question.
You use an abacus to do arithmetic calculation.
Wow, you can...
Hey!
Ready to test your skill? Choose a door to receive your question.
Any material that hardens and becomes strong adhesive after application.
Wrong, but you can try again to prove your worth.
All right, good enough.
A Greek proverb says, "Wonder is the beginning of wisdom." How wise are you?
Sheen used, that would be a loom.
Well done. As Sophocles...
If you want to win, you have to play the game. Click on the door if you're ready to play.
Self-powered work vehicle designed for pulling.
Cool, dude. You're smarter than I. The world is your oyster. Choose a path and a question will appear.
Okay, we're almost done. Device containing explosive chemicals designed to be detonated. Target, that would be bomb.
Right on. You came up with a...
I challenge you to find the answers. Choose the way.
South. Smallest particle.
By answering correctly, you have...
We did it! Oh my god, we did it! Now join us in our secret oath before you begin the next maze. Please enter a city such as Detroit. Please enter an attribute such as curly hair. Glasses. Another attribute such as flat feet. Bad loud voices. Smell. The advantage of the emotions is that they lead us astray. I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their intellects. A man cannot be too careful in their choice of enemies, says Oscar Wilde. The advantage of the emotions is that they lead us to Austin. I choose my friends for their glasses, my acquaintances for their bad smell, and my enemies for their worst smell. A person cannot be too careful in their choice of enemies. So, according to Encarta, I pick out people who smell bad. Hooray!
I challenge you to a duel of the mind.
No,
if you accept,
we're getting
choose
out of the
correct
mind
door
maze. No, we're not saving. Now let's see what other contents we can get here before. Go to the gallery. Wizard. Okay. Do you want to narrow? Yes, I only want video. Next. No. I only want video that has to do with the social sciences. Give me a list. The only video is about women's movements in the USA, so let's go.
Throughout the history of the United States, women have fought for equality.
True.
Feminists Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott organized the first Women's Rights Convention in 1848. There they made the first public demand for voting rights for women. After years of organized rallies and civil disobedience, women in the United States finally won the right to vote in 1919 with the passage of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The United States entered World War II in 1941, and women answered the nation's call for workers.
Women's hands, thousands of them, skillful, patient, and accurate, are assembling parts precisely dimensioned, without which no bomber could fly, and without which no mechanized land unit could move.
Sick.
By By the 1950s, most women had returned to their pre-war domestic roles, and an organized movement did not resurface until the 60s. Supporters of the Equal Rights Amendment, which calls for equal treatment of women and men under the law, succeeded in convincing Congress to pass the amendment in 1972. However, the ERA fell just short of ratification. Founded in 1966, the National Organization for Women works to eliminate discrimination against women. Its charter includes promoting equal pay for equal work, supporting reproductive choices, and helping women campaign for political office. Through the vision and perseverance of early feminists, women of today hold many roles traditionally available only to men.
All right. That was the video they have here. The only social sciences video they had was about women's. But hey, that's 1994 Encarta. I was gonna say limp. I guess limp. Not as limp as I was expecting compared to the Comptons ones. I really liked this. Yeah. So that was Encarta, and it looks like Encarta definitely not only mentioned homosexuality, but had a lot to say. So, folks. There we go. Go over here. And Encarta Encyclopedia 1994. Put a big old yes for that bad boy. There we go. So, in Canadian Encyclopedia Plus, homosexuality. Free version of Compton's homosexuality, but kind of bleak. Dr. Ruth's, I couldn't explore it, but so far both Dr. Ruth and Encarta have early explanations of the homosexuality. So yeah. All right, I think we did good for our first run through of gay encyclopedia content. I'll be coming back to this until I go through as many encyclopedias as possible. Next time I do this, which will probably be next month, I'm going to go take a look at Encyclopedia Britannica, a multimedia encyclopedia by Software Toolworks, and something called the Infopedia. So do look forward to our next edition of The Quest for Homosexuality. Next up, I actually have a Canadian public television show about the Mac to show off. But first, it's time for an intermission. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes with Dotto on data. See you then. You didn't see that. You didn't see my gear come on. That was an accident. It didn't happen. And you didn't see it. And yeah. Folks, next up, we got something special for you. This is a hot item. Just archived a few weeks ago on archive.org. We have Dotto on data. Dotto is Steve Dotto. I'm going to link to his stuff. Hold on. Who runs Dotto Tech. And they do a lot of tech info stuff. They do videos about being a YouTuber and things like that. And back in 1994, they did a Canadian public television series called Dotto on Data. And what makes this interesting is not only is it a Canadian series, it's aimed towards teens. And this one is not about Windows. It's all about the Mac, something you rarely see. So why don't we learn about the Mac?
Steve, seated at his desk, looking intelligent and dynamic, as the camera panned on him saying, "Hi, I'm your host, Steve Dotto, and welcome to Dotto on Data." We're rolling? Now?
Yes, now.
Oh. Hi, I'm your host, Steve Dotto, and welcome to Ditto on Data. Oh, excuse me. To Dotto on Data. You know, if you check a dictionary or thesaurus, you'll find that data basically means information, facts, and figures. Data are the building blocks of meaning, the symbolic stuff we use to make sense of the world, to figure, to measure, to describe, to compare, to quantify. And it can come in many forms, as words, images, numbers, and so on.
That's true.
For the next 8 weeks, we're going to look at data in all its forms, and at one of the most extraordinary tools ever conceived by the human mind, by means of which our ability to store, retrieve, manipulate, and use data is increased 1,000-fold. I'm referring, of course, to the good old personal computer. We'll see how just about everything we do incorporates some aspect of data handling or data management along the way, from writing and calculating, creating graphics and animation, to managing our finances, to making sound, music, and video.
Computer do
chatting
anything.
Online with electronic pen pals.
Computer do anything.
In all these tasks whereby we educate and entertain ourselves, the computer and its fantastic handling capacity offers us an exciting way to explore the ever-widening information highways of the age we live in. This show is called Dotto on Data for a good reason. The Dotto part should be obvious, but data is the real star of this show. You see, data is the stuff in
Hey. Hey. Am I back? Am I back? I think I'm back. Yeah, okay, there goes the kill. I don't know what's been going on today. This is, you know, we've been having storms all week. That probably has something to do with it. So, yeah, I'm back. I'm back. And yeah, computer can do anything except stream. Yeah, I say computer can do anything, and computer was like, no, I can't. I can't do anything. Stop putting that on me.
Information and knowledge are made of. We, as people, take that data and apply it based on our own criteria, and we turn it into content, into knowledge, into ideas. In order to understand how important data is, we need to consider the impact different resources have had on history through the years. In the 1800s, for example, gold was probably the resource of choice. Fortunes were made and lost based on gold, and in North America, the West and North were opened up because of it. The gold miners and landowners were not the only ones to make fortunes based on gold fever. The railroad barons made enormous fortunes by providing transportation of food and supplies to and from the gold fields. Now, society as a whole benefited from this development. New opportunities arose in and around the prime industries of the day to support and augment those industries. In the 1900s, energy, in all its forms, have been the most important commodity. Wars have risen and fallen over oil, gas, and other energy-related resources. As we moved into the 21st century, we realized we can no longer continue to primarily be a resource-based civilization, at least not in the traditional sense. All of the commodities we've mentioned today are finite resources. As we use them or remove them from the earth, they're not replenished. They are dwindling resources. In fact, there's only one resource that I know of that's increasing: data. The sum knowledge of humanity increases each and every day. We store it away on floppy disks and in hard drives.
Yeah, I didn't expect
CD-ROMs
Dotto to go into
we keep it on
that,
videotapes.
but that's okay.
And
What do you
film.
got to say, Dotto?
Everything we create from our mind or through research, which we write down or enter into a computer or record on a videotape, is added to the total resource base of data. I recently heard that within 15 years, 95% of the total knowledge of humanity will be stored in digital form. Now, if resource extraction, refinement, and management were the employable skills of the past centuries, it only stands to reason that they will be the valuable skills in the coming years. But no longer will they be in the form of mining or drilling expertise, but in data processing, information services, or data management. We need to develop better and better skills in creating, storing, accessing, finding, managing, and disseminating data. Computers have given us a place to store, retrieve, and manipulate data on a scale that's never before been accomplished. They're the only tool which can process information quickly enough to be used in the task we have outlined. This show is dedicated to exploring the world of data in all its forms and giving you an idea of how we can become a part of that world with the assistance of a little partner called Mac, a personal computer.
There is so little Mac-focused VHS ephemera. That's why I really wanted to show this.
The French philosopher Blaise Pascal in 1642. Oh, come in.
I hope you were.
Hey guys,
we've got
it's
teams.
my good friends Kia and Jane. How was your first day at school?
Well, we sort of got a little in over our heads.
Yeah, we kind of volunteered to do the school newspaper for this term.
Hey, the world needs more good journalists.
Yeah, but it's a tough job.
Oh, looks like you already got started. Let's have a look.
Oh, it's just an article I wrote on the new school gym.
Hey, it looks pretty good. You spelled the word gym wrong. You don't spell it J-I-M.
What are you talking about?
Just kidding, little Uncle Steve basement humor. Gotcha. Hey, look.
Okay.
You guys, putting the school newspaper together doesn't have to be a whole lot of misery for you. In fact, with a little help from your computer, it can be a lot of fun. Now, hey, when I was in school, putting the school newspaper together was an incredible, laborious, tedious job. I'm serious. The day would start 4 in the morning, 4:30. You'd have to get out of bed, trudge 5 miles to school in the snow, even in the summer.
God.
Okay.
When my dad was a kid, it was 10 miles. We had it easy, he said. Once you got to school, you'd have to start working on the newspaper. But we all did it in analog mode. Anytime we made a mistake, we had to correct it by starting over again. We'd start by writing out the whole report.
Right.
We'd have to write out the whole story for the teacher. Then the teacher, the moderator, the newspaper moderator, you still have those.
Kids love hearing stories like this. They love
sure that we hadn't made any spelling mistakes and that the story content was good. Then they'd say, fine, now you can type it up. Right. Now we can type it up. So in comes the typewriter. And we type it up. Of course, you make a mistake, tear off the paper. It was gone. It was no good anymore. Fortunately for us, Mike Nesmith's mother, you know Mike? Mickey and the Monkees? Hey, we're the monkeys, you can't stop.
Yeah, okay.
His mother invented whiteout.
Right.
You know how you can
He's
tell
right.
he's
Mike
been using your
Nesmith's
computer?
mom did invent whiteout.
Here's a whiteout on the screen when he made mistakes. Here, keep it, use it. That's good. Anyways, once we've typed out the whole story, we take scissors.
I
have
love
to
how
cut the
these
story into
kids
columns,
can't
so we
even
make it look
pretend
good.
to be
So it looks
interested.
like
I think that's
newspaper.
kind of cool.
Individual columns, and we take them and we tape them down on a page. But that was just one size type, and it looked boring as anything. In order to get titles and stuff in it, we'd have to take transfer paper, like this. And we'd have to put on the letters for the headers and for the story leads and all that sort of stuff. We'd have to put them one letter at a time.
Oh my God.
We had a real problem at our school because it was called the Vancouver Village Voice. And guess what happened? Partway through the term, we ran out of V's. Didn't have any budget to buy any more, so for the last 2 editions of the paper, it went out the Vancouver Illijoyce. It's tough. It's true story. Absolutely true.
I
Now,
don't believe you,
fortunately for
bro,
guys,
but
you have computers. You can work digitally. Now, when we work digitally, we conserve a lot of energy because once you've typed the story into the computer, it remains in digital
I
form.
do like
If you
hearing
make any
old people's
mistakes or have
stories.
to
I
make
guess
any
Dotto's
changes,
not that
you can
old.
just do it on the fly. You never have to redo the work. Now, what you're going to be using to create your newspaper is word processing, desktop publishing, and graphics software. And you're in luck, because today's show is on word processing. So what I do is I suggest you nip on home, get a nice cup of hot cocoa, plant yourself in front of the old Knowledge Network, and take in today's show.
Okay, but we want to put in some cool pictures and graphics too, so...
Well, that's a good idea. Next show is on graphics. Start with word processing.
Great. Okay.
Next time, graphics.
Okay, great.
We'll see you later.
See you later, Steve.
Hey, you guys better hurry, because we're on now. Kids.
yeah, you never run out of V's
When doing a
on the
fancy
computer.
document, look at the style
Watch this.
sheet
Look
or
at all the
templates
V's I
that came with
have.
your word processing package. Maybe somebody's already done the work for you.
Like, look at all those V's.
I love that.
It didn't cost me a thing.
You know, word processing in one form or another has been around for a long time. The communication of meaning by rendered symbols goes back to cave drawings and to sharp stones and plant dyes, which were our earliest tools for making such symbols. Written languages developed and evolved for thousands of years, until a few short centuries ago, when the Gutenberg printing press brought about a revolution in how information is created, copied, and distributed. Suddenly, more information became available more quickly to more people, and we've never looked back since. Modern electronic word processing began in 1964 when the International Business Machine Company, better known as IBM, unleashed the magnetic tape selectric, a somewhat simple machine that required typists to enter editing codes along with text, thus slowing down the typing speed. The codes enabled you to correct typos and make one-word changes automatically, but that was about it. In the early 70s, a big leap forward for word processing occurred.
Anybody here
when the
ever
typewriter
actually use the
was
old
tied to the
typewriter?
computer. Now, with a
Back in the
standard
90s,
keyboard,
we
monitor,
didn't
and
have a computer that could do word
users
processing.
could begin to take advantage of the
Actually, we
wonderful
didn't have a way
efficiency
to
of
print it out,
creating
so I
text
used to
in
do
an
things on the
electronic
typewriter.
medium. If you made a typo or even botched up a whole paragraph, you could edit your work with a few keystroke commands. Never again would you have to crumple up ruined pages and toss them into the wastebasket and start all over again. Today, with sophisticated word processing programs like Claris MacWrite Pro, WordPerfect, Microsoft Word, and AmiPro, you can insert
you had a
text,
typing class on
delete
old
text,
handwriters.
move
That's
text
wonderful.
around, change
Oh
fonts
my
and
God.
font sizes,
Yeah, we had an
add
electric
graphics,
one
charts,
too,
and tables,
and-
check your spelling and grammar, work on more than one document at a time, switch to italics, make global text changes, and much more, all with a few clicks of the mouse button. Much easier and faster than early word processing systems
Oh, man.
that required you
You
to learn
typed
and memorize
Cartman.
long strings of editing codes to perform much simpler functions. Of course, learning how to use a current word processing program is more difficult than learning how to type on a typewriter, but only in the beginning. Once you've mastered the use of pull-down menus that give you all of the editing functions you'll need to use, you'll find that computerized word processing is the only way to go. The original QWERTY keyboard was designed to slow down fast typists on mechanical typewriters so the keys wouldn't jam.
I heard that, but is that real? I've heard that 1,000 times.
To take a look at word processing. Now, word processing is probably the most basic and straightforward application we do on the computer. It's also the most popular application that people use their home computers and computers at school or business. It's the most popular application they use the computers for as well. Now, when we word process, when we add data into the computer in textual form, we prepare ourselves to utilize that data in any one of a number of ways. It can be printed out as a letter, it can be sent to an electronic mail service, it can be published in a magazine or newsletter, and if we have to make any changes to it, because it's in a word processing format, we can modify it without starting from the beginning again. Now, the word processor that we're going to work with today is one called Claris MacWrite Pro. MacWrite's been a very popular word processor that's been around for many years, and let's take a look at it.
I gotta ask, is Claris still around?
I've opened up a simple file. Now, this file contains
I remember
some
Claris
text
from
that
my
I typed in,
childhood,
which
but it was something that I
outlines a
saw
course
other
that I
people
gave
use.
a few years ago.
I saw Claris
Now,
as like rich
it's gonna be
people
difficult
stuff.
for you to read
I don't
this
know
text
why.
right now, being as the text itself is too small to see on television. So first thing I'm going to do is make the text larger. I'm going to choose all the copy. Now, what I'm doing is selecting all the copy. That's so I can apply some different attributes to it. You notice there's a menu command here that I can choose to do that.
Are so close to each other. I don't think, I really,
the highlight changes.
I feel
on the
that may be an urban
I'm going
legend.
to change the font to one which is hopefully going to be a little bit easier for you
Claris
to
was
read.
bought by
I'm gonna
Apple.
choose New
Okay.
York, and I'm going to make it big, 18 point. Now you on your television set should be able to read the same copy
question,
that I'm
chat.
reading
I've
here on
always
my
wondered
computer
this.
screen.
Is
Now this information looks pretty darn
remember
boring
Lotus?
if you ask me. There's
Is
no
that,
formatting.
still
it just
around?
sort of sits there. It lies there like a
Not like the
dead
plant,
copy.
but like the
Let's do
software.
something with it. First thing we want to do is take this thing, course 1. Let's make a little bit of a header. It's a and change the one-day introductory course to a capital. Now, I can leave the copy the way it is in this paragraph here. This is called rag write. The reason it's called rag write copy, that's the paragraph formatting, is all of the copy on the right-hand side of the page is ragged. It hasn't been made true and nice and even. That's called justified copy. You see these commands across the top of the window here? They'll allow us to control the paragraph formats. And if I choose this one here that shows 2 lines of equal length, it will justify my copy that easily. Now we have
I'm glad
nice,
the Lotus
even
keyboard
columns on either
shortcut
side.
still works.
Now, when you have a full page such as we have here, justified copy looks pretty good. But where it really starts to look better is when you start dealing with different columns. We'll look at that in a few moments. Let's play with some of the other formats first, because I love playing with toys and computers. We can go rag left.
I also
I'm
love
not sure
playing
why
with
people
toys and
ever do want to
computers.
go rag left, because it looks pretty stupid to you and I, but sometimes they want it. Or centered. Centered is big, especially in things like invitations or titles. Let's put it back to rag right, and let's just center the title. Now we're getting pretty fancy. Let's make the title even larger. I love this, 24 point, but now what I want to do is I want to
love
make it
this,
bold as
24
well, so I want
points.
to choose a different style. Here's all the styles that you can do. You can go absolutely nuts applying styles to fonts. People have been known, if they have enough fonts and enough styles on their computers, to be lost for days or even weeks just testing out different styles of type. It's true. Bizarre,
I'm
but
lost
true.
in the fog of
There,
fonts.
We've got the title in nice bold type now, and we've got a nicely formatted paragraph. I guess the next thing that I want to do is take a look at how we can start adding some, what would I like to do? I know, I'd like to add some columns to this. We were talking about that earlier. So I'm going to choose all of the copy again, and I'm going to choose the section command, and the section command will allow me to have a number of columns. We see here it says columns. We can have them equal or non-equal
1, 2, 3's
width.
gone.
So we can have one
Boo.
wider and one narrower column if we want to get fancy. Do you see what I'm talking about here? I'm talking about columns in a word processor. Now in the past, when we thought about columns, we were thinking of desktop publishing applications. But we can actually do a lot of the features that the older desktop publishing programs would do in a basic word processor today. Let's make a number of columns. Let's make 3 columns.
Okay.
And it gives me the column width, and the computer will recommend spaces and space between the lines. It's a good idea for most of us to utilize the preset margins and spaces that the computer gives us, because for the most part we aren't trained to decide how much space we should leave. They've put in some pretty good
I'm not
standard
trained on space
widths
at all.
of line spacing and column spacing for us. So it's going to leave this much space, one 0.176 inches. No, 167 inches. Let's change it just to be kind of campy. Let's change it to 0.168 inches. They'll never know the difference. And say,
to be
okay.
campy?
Now what we see happen is the copy has gone into 3
that's
columns.
not campy.
Now one thing that we can see right away if we're looking at this ourselves is this copy with this size type and these many columns looks lousy.
Yeah,
now,
bro,
if
it looks
had
like
it
shit.
normal size, let's go down to normal size. You won't be able to read it, but it starts to look a little bit better. It starts to look like normal text. However, if we go and we justify the text, it starts to look like a newspaper, doesn't it? Isn't that fantastic? I think it's too good to be true. Now, did you see all this space here between the words?
Yeah, I don't like
this space here is what we call extra kerning between the words, which causes them to stretch out. Here we see one word that stretches over a whole sentence. The word multimedia stretches over a whole sentence. So when you do add extra space between the words, sometimes the words aren't very usable. What I'm trying to get at here is when you and I start to play with things like adding multiple columns or changing font sizes away from some really standard things, we've got to make sure that it looks good and it reads easily, or we might actually be making it tougher or more difficult for people to follow our copy. I'm going to change to 2 columns here.
Yeah, I like wide space multimedia a lot.
2 columns. There we go. Because I think it'll be easier to read. And I'm going to bring the size of the type back up to an area that you can see. There we go. That looks pretty
multimedia.
Good. Now, let's change a word in here. Let's change presentation to presentation. And I'm not a very good speller, as I've told you before. And I want to show you my favorite feature of any word processor. And that feature is spelling. It helps me spell. It'll actually help me check a whole document. It'll go through the whole document.
Not gonna lie, spell check is sick.
It comes up right away.
Spell check is pretty
right away
good.
With the one that I spelled wrong. I spelled presentation, and it asks me if I would like to replace it. If I say yes, it will now plug the correctly spelled word in where the incorrectly spelled word was. I can also ask it to check if I'm saying, well, maybe it should be presentation. Let me put presentation and see what happens. I'm going to ask it to check.
Stop it, bro.
And no, it still feels it should be presentation. I can tell it to skip the word if I happen to know it's spelled right, like it's a proper name and the computer doesn't have it in its in the dictionary. And I can also tell it to learn it, like my own name, Dotto. Let's put my own name,
separate
Dotto.
is a hard one. There is one word.
Let's put before this my name.
Not receive. Receive. I hate the word receive.
If
I see the word receive, I'm just like, no.
And then I'm going to put it again later after the word presentation. So I'll show you how this works. Let's go back and let's check the whole document again. I'm so happy that there's these spelling checkers. Here we go. It finds the word Dotto before presentation. I'm going to tell it to learn the word Dotto. Now that is, oh, look at the suggestions. Dotty. It comes up with the suggestion Dotty. Holy cow. It knows Otto, but it doesn't know Dotto. Oh, that's just great. It knows Dwight. Boy, oh boy. Anyways, I'm going to tell it to learn it. Learn the word Dotto. Now it finds presentation. I'll tell it to replace it with the correctly spelled one, and it'll completely skip over the next spelling of Dotto because it's learned it.
Notepad++
now,
is my word processor of choice at the moment.
It will realize that it's spelled correctly. Now, if I continue on showing you the spell checker, you'll very quickly learn how weak my spelling is. I figure some people are born with good spelling and other people are born with good looks. Personally, I was blessed with good looks. Definitely not the spelling. The next thing that I'd like to show you is tabs. You know, when I walk around offices and see people using word processors anywhere that I happen to bump into people, I find people doing the strangest things to line up columns. Now, word processors make lining up columns a snap. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say we have to do a series of numbers, a group of numbers. I got to put, let's say we have to put the day of the week, Monday, and, oops, see what I mean about the spelling thing? I don't understand.
Mound Day. Mound Day. No, go back to Mound Day.
Now, see, what I did there is what a lot of people do. I'm going to tell it to show the invisibles. And can you see these little dots here on the screen? That tells us that what I've done is I've dotted over. I guess that's a good thing for a guy named Dotto to do, is to dot over. But I've actually spaced over to put the Tuesday in. Now, if I wanted to go underneath that and put 1 under Monday, if I wanted to put something under Tuesday, oops, under Tuesday, I got to keep spacing over until I can put the 2 under it. And then what happens if I change the font size of something? Say I make this one smaller. Watch what happens. Now, they don't line up anymore. It doesn't work that way. But tabs allow us to make it work. Watch what happens. Now, let's put it back to that size. I'm going to take out all of these little spaces, and I'm going to hit the tab key once, just once. Boom, there it is. And I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to put the tab key in once. Now, they don't line up right now, but by using the ruler bar in the top of the screen here, we can make them line up all the time. I'll just highlight them both so that we can see them. Now, these are our little tabs. See these little pyramid things here? They tell us right adjust tabs, center adjust, left adjust tabs. I'm just going to put a tab right out here at the 4-inch mark. Bim,
yeah, I also press space
boom,
to do
voila.
things.
We have them lining up instantly. If I don't want them to line up with a flush left, I'll just get rid of it. See, I just drag it off, and I'll drag in the center adjust tab. There it is. Now, if I want to add another line of copy underneath it, and I want to say, I want to say blue, because I want to talk about my favorite colors on each day of the week, and red is my favorite color on Tuesdays, I hit the tab, and you notice they line up again. Each one lines up. Now, sometimes what happens
I do
is
need
you
to
have
be
a
better
bit of a
about
longer
space
string
bar
of
mashing.
words
I
that you
don't
wanna
do it
put in.
that
Maybe
often.
I want to put in something that's too long. I want to put in anti-disestablishmentarianism. I can't spell it. And then I want to hit a tab over. And then I want to put green.
That's how I spell.
See, what I've done here is I have got one section that's too long for the tabs. It's very easy for me to fix it up by simply highlighting the whole section, moving the one tab over, and now everything lines up again. You see, word processors are designed to make our life easier. So if you have some typing that you have to do, some writing that you have to do, dust off the old word processor.
Okay.
Maybe read the manual a little bit. You'd be surprised at how
Read
powerful
your
the
word
tools that are
processor
sitting in
manual,
the
people.
computer you have at home or at school are. I believe that most people don't use more than about 10 to 20% of the power of a word processor. Even the very elementary ones. We just don't bother looking deep enough. We learn the section that we have to know just enough so that we can get by without trying too hard. But if we go a little bit extra, learn some of the tools that are available to us, you'll be amazed at what you can do with a simple word processor.
Quick tip.
Question. You're writing a history paper. You need to change the year 1621 to 1651. How do you do it fast? The answer? Use the find and replace function.
I was going to say highlight the 2 and press the
This
key
is my
5.
friend Mary Boone. She's a graphic artist whom I've worked with for many years. Mary, welcome to my show.
Thanks, Steve.
Hi, Mary.
I've asked Mary to join us.
We
since
found
my
a lot
school
of
friends
homosexuality.
expressed a
We
wish
found
to
so
include
much
graphics and
homosexuality,
photos in
we're
their
now
school
looking at
newspaper.
Dotto.
And as well, I'd really like to have a nice
I would say
graphic
this is the
logo created for
antithesis
show,
of homosexuality,
sort of spruce
but
up the look of
Data
it.
is very
And
homosexual.
Mary's definitely got the expertise in these areas. Mary, I was kind of thinking about a logo centered around my face. That'd be a nice idea.
Your face?
Yeah, my face. And to that end, I've got a video camera hooked up here to the computer. I'll get just a couple of seconds of my face on tape, and you can take it back with you.
A couple of seconds of your face, Steve, will be more than enough.
Oh, thanks. Can't wait to see what you're going to do with it now. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to actually use a video camera to capture my face graphically. Right. So, high-tech basement. I'm going to sit here. Are you ready?
Yeah, every single encyclopedia
okay,
today mentioned homosexuality or something gay equivalent.
Oh, we better do another take. Let's try another one. Okay. Because I want it to look just like I really look. There. I think that'll do just fine. What I'll do is I'll save this on disk for you, Mary, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do with this thing by the time you get through with it. I want you all to join us next week when Mary returns, and we'll take a really close-up look at how graphic magic is produced on the computer.
Oh, nice.
Mary, thanks for dropping in. Do you want to stick around for a few minutes while I finish up the show?
Great.
Okay. Well, I got my word processing program set up. My margins
you
and
needed a
tabs are
capture
all set.
card back in the day.
I've made my video script template. I better get on to finishing the script for this show. It's a busy life being a media star. This is Steve Dotto saying, see you next week on Dotto on Data. Bring up the theme music and run credits.
Oh, okay.
Hi, this is Steve Dotto to tell you about a great contest we're having on Dotto on Data. You can win a Macintosh PowerBook for your school, software, and the limited edition highly sought after Dotto on Data t-shirt. Just make a short video on how you're using technology
Apple
in
Canada.
Your school. To find out more and to get an entry form, call the
History
Open
of
Learning
Education,
Agency
British Columbia,
at
okay.
431-3343. Or, if you're not in the Lower Mainland, call 1-800-663-1678, local 3343.
That was Dotto on Data episode 1. I think it's time for episode 2. I can't leave on that cliffhanger. I gotta find out, what's the graphic design gonna look like?
Welcome to Dotto on Data. I'm busy as usual writing the script for today's show. I basically put this show together myself, with an ounce or two of help from the director and producer. Nice people, if a bit slow. And today I was just doing some research into graphics. As we saw in our first program in the series, data, in the form of words and text, as in word processing, is very efficiently handled, stored, and retrieved by the computer. Well, we have another way of communicating information too, and that is with pictures or graphics. With me is my graphic artist friend, Mary Boone.
Hey, Mary.
Mary, welcome to the show.
Hi, Steve.
Last week, Mary kindly offered to help me by designing a logo for the show. She took away a digitized photo of my face and spent some time on the computer applying her graphic talents. Mary, I'm breathless with anticipation.
Oh, and you'll be breathless when you see it, Steve.
Okay, last week what happened was we took a video camera.
I
and
am
we
so
captured some
excited to
images,
see
some simple
1994
images of my
graphic
face.
software.
We put them on a disc.
I'm
and then what
so
happened?
excited.
He gave it to me, and it was a photograph, in photograph version. So I opened it up in a program called Photoshop and printed it to my laser printer so that I had a hard copy to work from.
Still like working from hard copy.
Exactly. And then from there, I phoned in my illustrator, and he came in, and he did a caricature of you in a line drawing, black and white. From there, I scanned that onto my scanner, or put on my scanner, scanned it into Photoshop again, and from there, I colorized it and did some layering and some different effects. And, well, we can open it up.
Show me!
Go ahead, you drive.
Show me! Hurry up! Too slow.
Steve's head.
Steve's head. Yeah.
Good title. I like it. Ooh, there I am.
Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger so that
that looks nothing like the photo.
Now, the program that we're in right now is called Adobe Photoshop. Now,
That's
it's a
right.
paint program.
Look at him.
Now, the paint programs basically deal with each individual pixel on the screen.
That's right.
As an individual, we can assign a color or a texture to any one individual pixel. Is that correct?
That's right. I mean, just by looking at this here,
yes,
we can see the pixels.
We see the individual pixels, but when we zoom out, it doesn't look that jaggy.
No, it doesn't.
There's some nice texture to it. So you can zoom back out now. Let's take a look. I think I noticed something, a slight problem here, though, Mary.
I noticed it too, Steve. And looking at you, your eyes are not blue.
No, and you know something? I think I got something in my eye. Can we take a look? Look at my eye. Can you see if I got something in my eye there? Oh, well, I guess it's nothing. No, I thought I might have lost a contact. So my eyes are blue here. We've got to change them. They're kind of a hazily green, wouldn't you say?
I would say so. Well, we'll take the magic wand,
okay,
and we'll go up, and we'll just select the dark area, first of all. And we go over to our palette. Now, I think this green here is a little bit too light for the top, so let's make it a little bit dark, and we can see it's changing up in here.
In the top section, yes.
Exactly.
So that tells you what color you're selecting.
This is the color we had, and now it's going to a darker one. So that's probably okay. Let's go to that. And we just take our paint bucket and fill it in.
Pour that,
like so, and maybe put a little bit more in because it's not quite green enough. There we go.
There.
And then let's select the bottom half of your eye.
Let's do that. This is very, I should tell the people watching, this doesn't hurt a bit.
This is going to look like shit, dude.
I feel no pain.
Okay, let's go back into our paint palette.
And you want to pick a lighter green, I guess.
Exactly, because we're doing a two-tone eye.
Yeah.
So let's come a little bit lighter. That might be a little bit too bright. There we go. It's probably good. And again with the paintbrush. Or the
That's not going to be, see, you're missing all of the shading. It looks like shit now.
Yeah, we want to blend this so that it looks nice. So we'll deselect.
Yeah, it looks garbage. Sorry.
And we'll just take our smudge and put it on to lower because we don't want to smudge too much. And we'll just sort of blend. We'll just blend the colors together.
I guess,
nice,
but like...
That's similar to as if you were painting and you took your finger
the other
and
one
smudged
had the
between
little
two colors of
lines
paint.
of where
Exactly.
Yeah.
This
bring
is...
some green down into there.
You messed it up.
Excellent.
You lost all the detail on the eye, the shading.
Let's zoom back and see how I look with green eyes.
Oh, sorry.
Getting bigger. The eye that ate Los Angeles. There it is again.
Yeah, this is Photoshop.
There we go.
Keep it going. as he comes back to a normal size.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would have just adjusted the hue, but I
Excellent.
guess, you know.
Yeah, one green, one blue.
That's that'll work.
That'll work.
We can save that. Why don't you save that file?
Okay.
This is fantastic, Mary. I love it. But I have to ask you, we've got a nice graphic happening here, but we need some type. We need the title of the show in here, Dotto on Data.
That's
What program are you going to use for that?
Well, I used a program called Freehand, and I've already done it, so let's open it up.
Okay, now Freehand is a PostScript trying program.
Yes, it is.
Photoshop that we just came out of is a paint program. In other words, Photoshop deals with each individual pixel as its own entity, whereas Freehand deals with more vector-based graphics. It looks at curves and
Ironic
lines
that
as a
he has the
mathematical
homophobia
equation
in his eyes,
rather than a
yes.
physical fixed location on the screen.
That's right.
So when we enlarge or reduce PostScript graphics, which Freehand will create, the lines will always seem smooth. But when we enlarge or reduce pixel-based graphics, like the paint program from Photoshop, if we made my picture much larger, it would get all those jaggy edges that we're used to seeing in computers. So you have to carefully choose, depending on the job you're doing, which program you're going to use. Am I right?
Right. Well, in Freehand, for example, would be the one that you would choose for type, because it's easier to modify and to create things than it would be in Photoshop. So that's why I chose this one, and I've got everything together here, minus your head. So why don't we put that in now, and you can see what the final product is going to look like.
Okay, so we're going to import
We're going to put, we're going to import your head.
my head, Steve's head.
There you go.
Sounds like a good name for beer. Steve Head Beer. I guess not. And there it is.
There he is.
Just
All right,
looking.
we'll just send it to the back.
Yeah. And you position it
And
a bit.
we're going to position
Hey,
it
I
a
like
bit.
that. Ha ha. That looks, actually my head makes an O in Dotto. That's what you've done with it. You've made my head look like an O.
That's right.
Dotto on Data. Now, did you have to draw these fonts from scratch yourself, or is that a font? Is that a font that you can load into the computer?
Well, it's a little bit of both. To start off, Dotto, the word Dotto, I started with a type font called Dotto Poster. But it wasn't
Bedoni Poster.
Bedoni Poster. But it
Bedoni
wasn't
Poster.
perfect for what I'm doing here, because
Do we
if I
have
was to put the
Bedoni
two T's
Poster?
together,
Does Bedoni
they
Poster
also
still
have the
exist?
tails
Hold
on
on.
either side, and that wouldn't work. So I pushed them together and
Push
then
the
drew
T's together.
around and created two T's that were combined as one. The O is the existing one, and the D is a little bit changed. If you look down at the bottom here, I just pulled it down to fill in this white space here.
Could you just show us, could you just click on the D and show us the little points? Now, if you can actually change the size of it by clicking and dragging it, couldn't you, right now?
Oh, sure. Sure.
You
I
can
could. I mean, I can just show you. We'll
we
undo
could
it,
have-
but you can see that it.
Okay. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the word on data, that comes from...
Well, that's a different type font again. This is called Helvetica, and what I did for that was
Helvetica.
stretched it out this way.
Okay. Now, are you
See,
very,
like
very...
this, and just kept stretching it until I got it to where I wanted it.
Oh, beautiful. Have you ever, like, spent hours and hours on something and realized you spelled it wrong?
Yeah, I did once.
Did you really?
I did. You're right.
That sucks. I've done that
would
before.
really drive me crazy. And you know
Yeah.
something? If I was a graphic artist, I think I would do that regularly. It's a good thing I'm not a graphic artist, I think. One reason is that I can't spell very well, but the other reason is I have absolutely no graphical talent in my body whatsoever.
That's
So
not true.
I can't create something like this myself. I have to always hire or
Believe
beg
in
and borrow
yourself,
from friends to do
Dotto.
it. What about people that want to do some desktop publishing? They want to maybe just add some simple little graphical elements to spruce up a piece of work. And do they have to go through all this work of working with this software themselves?
Yes.
Well, if they can't draw, first of all, then they might want to get into something called clip art.
Clip art.
Right, and that it comes in digital.
Let's
and
get
you
into
can
clip
place
art.
it. For example, let's say this was a clip art, this head, then they would just import it the same way. It's just they didn't create it themselves.
And they can buy this at the computer store.
Absolutely.
Actually, I believe we'll be talking in future shows about
I would
online
assume
services.
this is
bulletin boards. There's
filmed
often a
in
lot of clip art, I
a
believe, on
Canadian
those sorts of
public
places so people can
television
access
studio.
that.
This
Right.
was
Manipulate it maybe just a
from
little bit,
Canadian
just change
public
the size or
television
something
with
like
a
that, or
grant,
correct the
all that
spelling
good stuff.
if the person
So
that
it's
created it spelled it wrong, for instance.
Right.
And then they can just use it to
It's educational.
add to their, like, I'm thinking of doing a newsletter or something like that. You know, I want a Christmas tree on the newsletter for the Christmas issue. I'm sure I can find a Christmas tree out there in clip art somewhere.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
You make your living working on the computer every day, but graphic artists 10 years ago didn't work on a computer every day, did they?
Oh, no.
What did they work on?
Drawing boards,
Drawing boards. So
basically, yeah.
they would have to draw the stuff out all by hand. What happens if they make a mistake?
They
Then
died.
you'd start again.
Start again.
Exactly. What else?
Same
would you do?
thing.
So the computer's making your life an awful lot better.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
How long did it take you to learn to use the systems?
I'm still learning.
You're
To
still
be
learning.
honest with you, yeah, I'm still learning. The new programs are coming out all the time, and I'm not sure anybody really knows everything. I learn every day.
When you were in school, how long ago did you get out of school, if you don't mind my asking?
5.5 years ago.
And were you using computers at that point in school?
Just starting to.
They were just starting to use them.
Just
So
starting
when
to.
you went out on your own, you bought a computer.
Well, no, at first I didn't. I did everything the manual way for about a year, and then I got into the computers. Macintosh was just going ahead at that time.
Okay, and so you bought into that. Now, that if you still had to do things manually, could you turn out as much work?
No. Oh, no, this would have taken me a long time to do, Steve. In fact, there's no way I could
Yeah,
have
I
done it in a
assume
week
all
like I did
Canadian
for
public
you.
television studios are
that is
garages.
excellent.
Yeah.
Now, you know, one thing that I really want to do with this is I want to take this and I want to make a T-shirt, because I think a T-shirt with this on it would be fun.
I want a
How can we
Dotto on
output
Data
this? What
T-shirt.
are our choices for outputting a graphic like this? I'm sure
For
we
a
can
T-shirt?
print it. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things we're going to want to use it for. We're going to want to use it on the TV show. We're going to want to do some animation with it. And we're going to want to use it on a T-shirt. And I'm thinking of some pencils, some Dotto on Data official pencils.
Right.
Because that would be a good thing to give away to guests, I think. That wouldn't cost us very much.
Exactly.
So how do we output this to make it, to use it in all those different formats?
Well, it depends on what you want to use it for, and there's a lot of different ways. One way, for example, if we were going to do a T-shirt, we would want to have positives, film positives. Those are transparencies with black on them, okay? And that would be output. We would send our disc down to an output house, and there's many of them in town, and they would put it through something called a lino, through the computer, into the lino. It would output film, and then we would take that film, and we would go to a silk screening house, and they would burn screens. And then they would silk screen onto your T-shirt. Now, if you were going to print it onto a brochure or a poster, then you would do film, which is negatives. It's just the opposite of a positive.
Okay.
It's a negative. And that goes to a printer, which
Now,
is
the
completely
film that
different
would come
again.
out, the file would go and it would be printed directly from the computer onto the film. There would be there'd be no process in between, would there?
No, not like there used to be.
Just like a laser printer.
That's right. Only it's film.
Oh,
and that's what the printers and the silk screeners require. It's a little bit different.
Oh, let's see what else we can do with this, because I'm thinking I want to look about 5 years younger. How about if you help me with that?
Okay.
Well, let's work on it. I don't know, what do you think?
I love the way the clip art just shoots around the frame here. Very good. Quick fact.
Computer graphics has revolutionized the graphics industry.
That's true.
Some of today's computer artists have never touched a paintbrush.
That's true. I've never used a paintbrush. Well, actually, I probably have. Yeah.
You know, graphics were one of the very earliest forms of human communication. Cave drawings and
That's
hieroglyphs, ancient anagrams, or word pictures. There was a famous piece of rock found by archaeologists years ago called the Rosetta Stone, which contained Greek letters and Egyptian hieroglyphs side by side. It was the key to cracking the meaning of Egyptian word pictures and made possible the opening up of an entire ancient system of mythology to our understanding.
Yeah, cave graphics.
Throughout human history, the visual arts have served as a medium for the transmission of human meaning, values, and aspirations. As the millions of annual visitors to the great art galleries of the world will tell you, graphics, in the form of great paintings, convey a lot more than just information. They reach over into the realm of quality and address those aspects of the human imagination and vision that cannot be reduced to quantifiable data. Today, in the age of computers and global information systems, the infographic, or informational graphic, has really come into its own as a means of conveying understandable content, even across language barriers.
The infographic
In our
is
global
understandable
information village,
content.
where we all speak different languages, but share a common understanding of the meaning of pictures, we may be coming full circle, all the way back to communicating by means of cave drawings, fancy electronic infographic cave drawings. Makes you think.
Makes you think. Sorry, I love Dotto.
Store your artwork on a separate disk. Graphics files can eat up a lot of hard drive space.
Oh, they're right. It
Joining us
can.
now are Jay and Kia, our intrepid reporters. I bet you guys have some questions for Mary.
Yeah, see, well, we finished writing all our articles, but we want to put some pictures in now, so...
In fact, some of the photos, we even want to doctor up a bit.
Especially that one of Mr. Ratzlaff.
Ratzlaff? Is he still at the school? He was there when I was a kid. The guy must be a dinosaur by now. I'm glad that you're here with Mary, because I think she can answer all your questions pertaining to newsletter production.
That's great. But see, the thing is, we're new at this newspaper thing, so we know there's some things that we'll probably do wrong, so...
Yeah, well, is there some things we can avoid so we don't do any mistakes?
Yeah.
Right. Well, one of the main things is to look at your type fonts. Don't use too many.
Okay.
You can buy
Wrong.
decorative
Use as
type
many
fonts,
fonts
use
as you
those for the
want.
headings, and use something like Times or Helvetica for the main copy. That'll make it more readable.
The first time that I did a newsletter, I used like 37 fonts. The thing ended up looking like a ransom note. People were sending me in money. It was brutal.
One of the things that's really nice is make sure when you're doing a headline, if you use a big capital and smaller letters, kerning. Make sure that you move them together so that they're not too far apart and break the word up.
Okay, well, maybe you could tell us about columns, because I know my friends had problems with that when they did their newspapers, so.
Well, there's two things with columns that you want to watch for, and one of them is the spacing. Make sure you don't have them too close together or too far apart. If they're too close together, you'll want to read across and then jump to the other column. If it's too wide apart, then it doesn't look very good. It's too much white space. And the last thing you really want to watch for is the leading. That's the leading between the lines. That's the space between each line. Don't make it too wide apart and don't make it too thin.
Okay, that's great. But is there anything we can do about Mr. Ratzlaff?
Yeah. Mary's done some wonderful things with my face.
Kill
Mind you,
him.
she had a
I
lot
don't
better
know.
content to work with in the beginning than old Jurassic Ratzlaff. Why don't we take a look at it here?
Yeah.
Like Ratzlaff's face will ever look half as good as mine. If you're not an artist, check out the clip art that came with your word processor, or that's available to you on disk, or through your neighborhood BBS.
I want to go to my neighborhood BBS. Oh.
You know,
don't
my
have
young
that no
school
more.
friends
Boo.
talking about the school newspaper gave me a really good idea.
Bring back
A
the
Dotto on
BBS,
Data
goddammit.
newsletter. Yeah, the latest scoops on hardware and software development, tips for first-time users, cartoons, recipes. I've got the technology to do it. It's a good thing it's not the old days. Boy, then it was some job putting even a simple newsletter together. The very fact that I can even talk about producing a newsletter of my own from my basement illustrates to me just how far we've come in the past few years. I mean, when we stop and think back about the evolution of the personal computing system, it's really not that old an industry.
I know, that laptop
in the
is
mid-'70s,
sick.
Apple released the Apple II. That was the first personal computer of note. Now, with it, you could do word processing, spreadsheets, and databases for the first time on a desktop. Now, when we stop and think it's only about 15 years that we've had that capability, we realize how integrated the personal computers become in a lot of our day-to-day lives. IBM then brought out their personal computer in the late 70s, and the boom was on. Many more people purchased computers. Software companies started to develop better and better versions of software as critical mass, or many computers were installed, so it was worth it for them to write the software. Then in the mid-'80s,
I
another
agree with the
very
tiny
important
legs for the
event occurred.
laptop.
That was Apple releasing the Macintosh. You see, the Macintosh was the very first personal computer system with a graphical user interface. That made it easy for you and I to learn how to operate the computer without learning dedicated code, because it was iconic. We could use a mouse and menus and pull down and choose commands.
Literally
Icon-based,
iconic.
picture-based. Now that translated to not just easier use of the computer, but because we had graphics built into the system on the screen, we were then able to take those graphics and fairly easily, with some advancements in printer engine technology, translate or transfer those graphics and type onto pages. And that was the birth of desktop publishing in the mid-'80s. And in the course of about 5 years, desktop publishing absolutely revolutionized the publishing industry. To today, there's not a major newspaper, magazine, book publisher that doesn't use desktop technology to publish virtually all of their work.
That's
in fact,
true.
Desktop publishing today really isn't desktop publishing anymore, it's just publishing. It's become the standard by which publishing is done. All of that occurred in the space of 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it is kind of revolutionary, huh? I guess that revolution happened in my lifetime. Oh, well.
The first Apple computer was built to fit in a cigar case.
Was it?
As we've seen, there's
Probably.
graphics software now available for the home user that make possible a wide range of very sophisticated, professional quality graphics applications. As well, there are similar packages that we call desktop publishing programs, which enable users to marry pictures and text in all kinds of interesting ways. The kids are using ClarisWorks at their school, but me, I'm going to use all this PageMaker.
The kids
to put
no
together
longer
my
use
Dotto on
ClarisWorks.
Data newsletter. Now, PageMaker is really the granddaddy of all of the desktop publishing applications. It's been around since, I think, '87 was the first time I saw it, and it's very popular. One of the reasons is it's available both in Macintosh and Windows platforms. Let's jump in now and start working on the newsletter. The first thing we've got to do is we've got to get some text in this thing. And we get the text from telling it to simply place copy within the document And then I'm going to find in here, I've got some text. Here we go. Some text that I can work with. And it's importing the text. I wrote the text in a word processor. Now, if I just click here and drag down with this little icon, the text will flow in a column. See, PageMaker works in columns
for that laptop.
of
Oh
one
my
to the
God.
next. And I can actually pick up at the very bottom here, you can see a little tag here. I can pick up the next text, and you see I get the icon again, and I can actually make a whole nother column of text here right beside, one beside the other. But that wouldn't be too good because I won't have laid the columns out evenly. They're not going to look very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this second column here, and I'm going to set up a little bit of a template to basically let me know how many columns I should have in the space that they're going to take. I'm going to put in 3 columns, and now I can see the columns. And I can see already I didn't place this first column very well.
Yeah,
so I can just resize that column, pick up the text to the next one, and now I can have it snap in and draw the next, the next column right within that arena there. There we go.
I
There's my
agree
next
that
column,
word
and I
processors
can
need
do
to
a
play
third
jaunty
column
tunes.
similarly. It's just that easy. You know, they spent so much time developing these software applications that they've really made them very easy to use and very intuitive. Before we take a look at the text itself, let's get a graphic in, because that's really what desktop publishing is. It's mixing text and graphics together for the point of printing and publishing them. So I'm going to go back in place once again, but this time I'm going to place that nice logo that Mary created for me.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell it, that's just asking if it wants to import the whole graphic or just a placeholder to show us where it is. And I'm going to have it import this. Oh, there it is. Made it
there
a
he
little
is.
too big, didn't I? Although it might work. But let's try that again. Let's place it a little bit smaller this time. And let's just tell it that I want it to sit right here at the top of the page. There we go. And there it is, that Dotto on Data, that famous
It's
Dotto
so
on Data
stretched,
logo
I love
that's
it.
known throughout the civilized world. Now, what I'd like to do
Looking
now
good,
is
Dotto.
zoom in a little bit on this copy and take it up to actual size. And here we see the type appearing. Well, let's first of all change the type size so that you at home can see it a little bit better. And then start dressing this thing up in a couple of different ways. Let's just bring this type. These are just like window shades. See how I move the window shades up and down, and the copy reflows with the window shades. It's really quite simple to use. I'm going to choose the text tool from the toolbar, select all of the copy, and make the text a little bit bigger here so it's going to be easier for you to see. I'm going to bring it up to, say, 18 point. And let's see, what font are we using here? Let's we've got New York. That's just
use
fine.
Joker
I like that.
Man.
Now, one of the things we try and do when we desktop publish is we try to make a page look more appealing to the eye. There's all sorts of historical typographic treatment that we can do that makes things look better. But one of the most popular things that we've done in the past is doing a thing called a drop cap. Now, a drop cap are the ways that we make one capital letter look much larger than the rest of the letters around it. It's kind of a neat way of showily introducing a paragraph. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to, into this first one. All this has
I
this neat
already
thing called
was a
all
jester
additions.
today, but just
now, what
for
the additions
you.
do is all this.
Here I
you don't know
am,
all of the
fiddly
different
bam.
things
It's
that
time
people
for
might want to
Dotto,
do with the software,
and
with
he's
word
the
our desktop
cool
publishing software
man.
over the next 10 years. But we'll create an extensible architecture where people can write extensions and then add them. And I think all those themselves actually wrote one called drop cap. See, here it comes up, drop cap, and it says, how many lines do you want it to be?
Fiddly bap, it's time for a drop cap.
I tell it to apply, and watch what happens in my paragraph here. Look at that, I got a big capital W, just that easily. And it fits nicely, and so now if we take a look at our newsletter, it's looking pretty good. I've got the nice face thing happening, I've brought the graphic in, I've added some nice typographic treatment
Your
to the
face
text,
is so wide,
and now I
Dotto.
can
Please
continue
fix
to work.
it.
I can add a little thing down here. Let's say that I wanted to import another graphic here. And let's place one more graphic. This time let's just use my face because, well, there it is right there. And let's place it down here in a small section down. Oops, that's big again. I don't like that. It's so darn large. I mean, some of the guys in the crew told me I have a big head, but that's getting ridiculous. Let's try it one more time here. It's a really big head. Thank you. Here we go. Okay, now let's just put it in right there. See, I brought it in much smaller just by clicking and dragging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the computer now to take this and to wrap the text around it. See, when we bring graphics into a document, sometimes we want to have the text flow nicely around the edges of it. And I can just
Or
ask
wrap.
the text to wrap all the way around this graphic that way. And so now what'll happen is the text, as you can see, moves out of the way of the head, and I can resize the way that it wraps here so that the text flows nice and smoothly around my head. See, all desktop publishing programs are designed to do is to make it easier for us to mix graphics and text together on a page. And we don't just have to use them for newspapers and newsletters. Oh, no. We can use them for posters or business cards. We can use them for programs for the theater, or we can use them to publish a book.
Use it to make a poster
They
to
just
mock the
basically
king.
mix
I'm
the
sure
text
he'll
and graphics
enjoy
together
that.
and allow us to print them and publish with that information.
There we
That's
go.
all desktop publishing is, from the desktop. Now in show 1, the word processing show, we looked at how the computer handles data in the form of words. Today, our focus was on graphics. We're still looking at data, bits and bytes of information, only now our data is put together in the form of pictures, images, informational graphics. And as we've seen, these images can convey information every bit as effectively as words. The computer's ability to store, retrieve, and manipulate large blocks of data in text or picture form makes it a fantastic tool for exploring the information highways now being laid down everywhere in the cyberspace about us. Next week, we take a look at the
highways
seedier side
being
of
laid
the
out
information
in the
universe.
cyberspace around
Those creepy,
us.
crawly things
That's
called
so cool.
computer viruses. We'll also look at some very practical things, like how to use a spreadsheet in a computer database. And then we nip back to the shadier side of things once again with a look at that rogue of the keyboard kingdom, the hacker. Until then, I'm going to play with my face. See you next week.
The
on
rogue of
Dotto
the
on
keyboard
Data.
kingdom. The rogue of the keyboard kingdom. That was Dotto on Data, episode 2. I think that's all I've got for us today. Thank you all so much, everyone, for sticking around during my multiple drops. I'm not sure what was going on, but I guess I'm blaming it on the rain. Usually when the weather's bad, the internet does get a little funky, and it's going to be storming all week. So that's probably why I did that. But thank you to everyone who stuck around. Thank you to everyone who watched me go through a bunch of encyclopedias and look for homosexuality. I found some good stuff, and I found a lot of Dr. Ruth, and I found I could play Dr. Ruth backwards, which is so cool. So yeah, I'll be back next Tuesday with a look at Rocket's Secret Invitation. No, Rocket's Tricky. Secret Invitation. And then after that, it's on to another. The week after, I'm going to do another issue of interactive entertainment. So we've got some stuff coming up. But in the meantime, let me look for someone to raid here. Who is no, follow here. Who's going? Who's doing the thing? You've got, oh, hey. Yeah, okay. I see the opponent's got a birthday stream going on. So why don't we go and wish them a happy birthday. So let's start the raid and let's go. Thank you all so very much for showing up. Have a great day and bye.